Ringo. Ringo's. Ringo, come on. Ringo, the podcast is starting. Ringo, the podcast is starting. Come on. Ringo, the podcast is starting. Yeah, come on. Their podcast is starting, Ringo. Oh, yeah, podcast intro. This is the podcast. This is the podcast. Buy my book. Google Gobble. Okay, meow. I am working on a couple things. Meow. Meow. Working on a couple things. Like I have a new podcast episode that I should be working on. Show and folder. There we go. Bibbidi bobbidi boo. Hopefully this is working. Buy my book. It says someone's watching. Somebody's there. Hello. Hello, me. Meet the real me. I am working on getting all the show stuff started, but Ringo keeps crying and it's super distracting. Scrambles my brain. Hey. Duck. Duck, duck. We will be getting started shortly. Quack, quack, quack. We will be getting started shortly. I'm waiting for the man of the hour, for which we cannot start without the man of the hour. I was just kind of giving everybody brief updates while we waited. I have a new episode that I'm working on. I just need to finish the editing it, or whatever it's called. Rendering it, editing it, blah blah blah. The topics are kind of all over the board, so it's not like I can really say the topics are X and Y, because to be honest, I already forgot what the topics were. But it is episode 191. Toxic AF. No, I don't know. I don't know what to call it. Topic unknown. 404 topic unknown. I don't know. I don't know what to call it right now. Basically what's going to be happening here in a few minutes, if you're wondering what we're waiting for, is Griffin's going to be on, and he's hopefully, unless he forgot, which is understandable. Meow, wow, meow, wow. Come on, Ringo. Otherwise, it's going to be my co-host, Ringo the Cat. Ringo the Cat, is it true that you like to knock things over? Only on days ending in Y. Yeah. So he's if real. How do I get this show? There's. Oh, I remember what I was gonna do. Hello, meat. Holy cow. Sorry, it's annoying. It takes like all kinds of work to get one of these going. Chance, I prefer being called Rose. What did I call you? Did I not call you Rose? Did I call you Rosemary? I already forgot. I did call you Rose. It says right there, hi Rose. I called you Rose. Oh, if you're wondering why I didn't actually do the Rose icon, it's because I was in a different chat window that wasn't letting me do that. So, Bunker Basics by Chance Paladin. Boop. Pin. Well, maybe Griffin forgot about me. but that's okay. Wow, that pin message is kind of crap. Oh well. What's the next thing? I was working on my security system, my camera system. Shout outs to everybody who has cameras in the chat. It is a whole deal setting up cameras. I think cameras are an important part of prepping, like I talk about in my books. My newest episode, or my newest iteration of Bunker Basics is actually going to have way more camera stuff. I think it's going to have way more camera stuff in it. Holy shit. Griffin's here. Congratulations. Okay, uno momento, Gryffindor. Where's the frickin' button? Invite. Griffin builds a bunker. Okay. There you go. That invite is for Griffin and not other people. So if anyone else clicks it, forget it. It's not going to work. That link's only going to work for Griffin. So I apologize in advance if anyone else thinks I'm inviting them to the show. I'm definitely not. One of the things, device not connected. All right, connect your devices, then I'll let you in. One of the things, I am not going to have big panels. I think big panels are no bueno. So, Griffin, as soon as you connect your mic, let me know. Or not let me know, I'll see the thing. He's got to get his headset going. As soon as he joins, I want everyone to say, Griffin builds a bunker in the chat. Through the power of bullying, we can make him write his own bunker book. About everything that a bunker should have. As soon as he connects his microphone, I'm waiting for him to connect his... Oh, there we go. There you go. Hello, governor. Can you hear me okay? Griffin, hear me?
Right.
Griffin, do you copy? Over.
I am here, yes.
All right, everybody say Griffin builds a bunker in the chat. Okay. What was I? Shit, I already forgot. Oh, cameras? Security cameras. Do you, all right, question number one for our guest. Question number one. On your fancy pants CAD program, do you ever put security cameras on there? With angles and ranges and radiuses and stuff.
I seem to be getting double back.
Well, pause the video. So it's only this coming through.
Pause the video. Hang on. Right, that's probably going to work. Okay. Every now and again, yes, we'd put video cameras in houses. Yes.
Did you go to school for that? Like of which angles to put them all? Hey Nana.
No.
Did you go to camera school?
Basically, what happens is I put them in a position, and then the installer basically adjusts them accordingly.
Look at all those nice people saying Griffin builds a bunker in the chat. Everybody is so happy to see you.
Hello, everyone. Griffin builds a bunker.
So you like stick it on a corner of a house, and then you're like, it probably like it needs to point towards the driveway or something. And
yeah,
then they
I suppose it depends on how many have been specified in the first place.
So they tell
because
you like
obviously
6 or something.
They're not exactly cheap. So
Oof.
to be able to get the best value for money, I suppose, you end up putting them in positions that are going to pick up anyone coming to the front door or coming down a driveway. So if there's been two that have been specified, you generally put one sort of, I suppose, on the corner of the building where the driveway is and where most people are going to access the front door. And the second one would basically be sort of out the back. So anyone sort of who is approaching the back door or coming down the driveway again. So it sort of depends on the block. It depends on the house. It depends on how many have been specified, etc., etc. So, yeah.
Do they specify like inside, like this is going to be baby room, and you put baby crib, baby prison, and then you put like baby camera in baby prison room?
No, look, it's not something that we've been asked to do. We
Okay.
do intercoms. Um, uh, so for disabled housing, there are intercoms next to each bed, in the bathrooms, kitchen,
Oh, okay.
laundry, etc., etc. But cameras, no, not inside the house.
Okay. That's a great segue to our next, not a topic, but should be. So when I was a naive younger lad, I used to think like the bee's knees, like pinnacle of housing technology would be to have an intercom system. And I don't know if that's because our schools all had intercom systems, but when I grew up, I thought intercoms are actually really, really stupid. But now, but now that the whole grid could go down, having your own closed system intercoms actually like a really good idea. What are your thoughts on intercom systems?
Look, most of them tend to be in disabled housing. So
Hmm.
generally the houses that I draw anywhere from 2 to 3 bedrooms. So you've got 2 to 3 occupants in each bed. And I suppose the way you view them is not so much as a house, more so a hospital in a
Like a care
suburb.
facility.
Yeah. Um,
Okay.
so it used to be that if you, and I think we've had this discussion before, like if you don't have kids, but if say for example your 19-year-old
Ugh.
gets his first car, right?
Hmm.
Goes out with his mates, all above board, none of them drinking. Yeah, I know. What sort of 19-year-old doesn't do that? But let's pretend for the moment. And on their way home, another 30-year-old who should bloody well know better,
Oh,
who has been out drinking, ends up hitting your son's car. Now,
yes.
through absolutely zero fault of his own, he ends up permanently disabled.
Yes.
He's still alive, no problems at all, right? He
Okay.
then has to have somewhere to live. So now most people's houses are not set up for permanently disabled people, and
Yeah,
so
the halls are the wrong
yeah,
width, first of
halls,
all, and you got the
toilets,
stupid
beds,
stairs,
steps,
or
etc., etc.,
yeah,
and
the
on it
front
goes, right?
steps. Yeah, it's a lot.
So basically, what they used to do was these kids would end up in a hospital or in a retirement home
Right.
or somewhere where they could actually live out the rest of their natural life because they're never going to work again. They're never going to be a functioning member of society,
Yep.
but they still need to be housed somewhere. Um, so the idea behind what the NDIS here in Australia, which is the National Disability Incentive Scheme, has done is basically put them somewhere in a house. So taken them out of the retirement villages, taken them out of the hospitals, and actually put them in a house with a carer. Um, so effectively, they're still in a hospital bed. Um, so, and these bedrooms are set up more like a hospital. So they've still got the hoist above the bed. They've still
Yeah.
got the machinery, the PowerPoints, the
It's like a
TVs.
house with a robot in it, but the robot's like the whole house almost.
Yeah, I mean, it's like going into any hospital. Like if you've ever visited someone in a hospital, instead of a curtain around their bed, they've basically got four walls and a window and a door,
Yeah.
no different to anyone's bedroom. But all the gear that's actually in that hospital room is actually in a house instead.
Yep.
So, and so, if you're in a hospital, you've got your intercom, so you can press a buzzer if you get into trouble, or you know, you've got a TV, you've got the remote, except you don't have to pay for it because you live there. You've got your disabled bathroom where it's got the disabled shower and all the handrails and grab rails.
Yep.
Um,
It's like a
and
wheelchair, like you just wheelchair basically right into the
yeah,
shower. It's
wheelchair
like a
or
robot
hospital
arm or
bed
something.
or what have you.
Yeah.
Because some of these people who have cerebral palsy basically have no control over their bodily actions, and
Mm-hmm.
they've got brain damage, so they're different to like a quadriplegic or a paraplegic. So these people are, you know, they could virtually pick up the wheelchair and throw it through the wall, and they'd have no idea they'd done it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so, and that's unfortunately where car accident people sometimes end up. So, and they do have to live somewhere. So these
Mm-hmm.
houses are designed for those people. So they've got intercoms. They've got a kitchen where they can do cooking. They've got with adjustable benches, wall ovens or ovens that actually open sideways, not down or up. Um, they've got handles at certain heights, power points at certain heights. Um, all these things that are basically in a house instead of in a hospital.
Mm-hmm. So I would imagine. So how do they? Oh, I don't know. This is kind of getting crazy into the weeds, but I imagine the caregiver. I can't remember. Do the caregivers usually live with them, or is it like they have a
Um,
key or a keypad or something?
It depends on who's actually in the house,
Mm-hmm.
as in their ability to be able to move around the house. I suppose depends on how often the carer turns up. All these houses do have a carer's bedroom, so
Okay.
there is actually a single bed that's actually able to be placed into this room, and it's also got a study desk, and that's where things like first aid kits, emergency sort of things that you would normally find in a hospital are actually kept. And they've got a separate bathroom, separate shower. Um, and so some of these people do stay overnight because some of the patients do need to be checked every 2 to 3 hours overnight. So, but it's done on a rotation basis. So they might be in there for 8 hours, no different to any job. Except they have lunch and everything else inside the house. Um, so yeah, and then obviously after a certain amount of hours, then they basically switch over and somebody else comes in. So,
I feel like the
but
fridge would be
that's
a
that's
giant
only for the
bitch.
high physical patients.
Yeah.
So the low physical patients, so the people who might be quadriplegic or paraplegic, they can actually still do quite a lot themselves.
Yeah.
So they can still cook meals and wash clothes. So these houses have got laundries and no different to a normal domesticated house. But the low physical people, the carers might turn up for maybe 2 or 3 hours, and in that time they'll cook the patient lunch or dinner or breakfast. They'll do the washing, um, and generally sort of take after the patient, do the obs and everything else that they would normally do if you were in a hospital.
Is there a special fridge too? I was just imagining the fridge would be a nightmare.
Um, I think, I mean, they do have the upside down fridges these days where the freezer is actually at the bottom, and the fridge is up the top. But you've got the double door fridges as well. So, one side's a freezer, one side's a fridge. So, I mean, I think most fridges these days, they don't necessarily have to be disabled friendly. They're basically just a standard domestic fridge, I suppose. So, yeah,
Like the
there's
new
no
fridges
real.
have like tons of suction on them. Like if you had like low grip strength or low arm strength, like man, I don't know.
Yeah, I look. I think that's why they still even. It
That's
depends
right.
on your needs, and see, this was the reason the NDIS was set up in the first place. Because like most countries, we have a disabled code.
Right.
That we use when we design a building. The problem is that it fails in probably 90% of cases because disability based on a disabled code, as far as the disabled code is concerned, you're a paraplegic um,
Automatically.
with
That's like
with
the default.
no brain injury, right? So
Okay.
you can still control a wheelchair. You've still got brain function. You can still, open a door. You can get up a ramp. You can do all these things, right? So all the ramps in the disabled codes are all designed based on that. The problem is that once you throw someone with cerebral palsy or a, a quadriplegic into the mix, the entire code is useless. So there has
Wow.
to be another way of dealing with the levels of disability and the levels of brain function that you have after a major accident. And I got a phone call probably 12 months before the NDIS even started. Um, and the first question is, what do you think of the disabled code? And I said, well, it's complete rubbish. And they said, why? And I said, because simple as that. It doesn't cope with all the manners of disability that actually exist. And they said, well, how would you do it? And I said, well, simple. I said, it'd be a level. You start
Yeah.
off with the most able up to the most disabled. And I'm talking all disabled. um, but somebody who can, if you're in a wheelchair and you can still move your arms and you've still got brain function and you can still think like most people do, um, then you shouldn't just be bunched in the same sort of situation as someone who's got absolutely no control over their body, no control over their brain function, and no ability to be able to do anything on their own at all. Like these people can't even wipe their bum. Like they just can't. And they're going to
Right.
be like that for the next 30 or 40 years.
Or until Canada takes over.
Well, I mean, look, at the end of the day, I mean, it's nice to sort of say, yes, I mean, these people are no good for society, but at the end of the day, they're someone's mum, they're someone's son, they're someone's daughter, they're someone's dad. And so they still have family that doesn't want to see them go. Um,
I think the
and
difference is that they're not in your country's case, they're not draining the family's bank account upside down to $750,000. I mean, I think that's
I'd hate. I mean, look, if you
which
look
is
at
what happens
I
here.
mean, there's arguments in Parliament all the time about people that are screwing over the NDIS. And look, don't get
Oh,
me wrong.
really?
Yes,
Okay.
it's happening. Yes, people are
Oh,
making an
wow.
absolute killing out of it, and
That's insane.
they're basically using it as a money making situation. And
Mm-hmm.
so, if you ask the majority of Australians, most of them will tell you the NDIS sucks and they need to get rid of it. But
Wow.
most of them
That'd be
have
terrible.
absolutely no idea what it actually was set up for and what it's actually doing. Um, and I think what they need to do is, and I've said this many times, is like with all the legislation, no matter whether it's for this or whether it's for something else, after 12 months or 2 years of operation, it needs to be looked at from top to bottom. And you need to close any loopholes that people have found and then rewrite it or do a variation to it and then get it through Parliament and pass it, and then again after 2 years, go through it again, 2 years, go through it again, etc., etc. Because all the best legislation that's written is written in the best interest, right? It's written after a lot of community and a lot of industry help, but they can't cover everything. And until something actually is put into operation and you actually see how it works and see how people are actually using it, you're never going to be able to pick up where the holes are, which is why it's imperative after 2 years, which is enough time. Some people will say 12 months. I don't think that's long enough. 12 months, 2 years is probably enough to be able to see how the system has worked, how it's operated, and then basically go through it and rewrite it and get rid of all the holes and then
Is there is there like
go from there.
auditors in place to, or is the caregiver themselves basically in charge of like, is this even working? Like, are are the features? Because I imagine like, well, here especially, it's like there's nothing that stops companies from making, well, Chinese garbage, for example, where it's like, no, it's medically XYZ approved, and it's like, no, this is Chinese junk.
No, look, I mean, I think all the medical gear is, I mean, we've got incredibly strict regulations
Okay,
in regards to everything from medical equipment to food production to you name it. I mean, a
that's
box
cool.
of cereal here is so far different to what it is in the US. It just isn't funny. It
Well,
might
that's
be the same name on the box, but the ingredients, nah. We've
right.
probably got 5 ingredients, whereas you guys have probably got nearly 60, because the rest of them are basically banned. They just won't allow it to be put into food. So it's no different to anything else. We're so heavily legislated, it isn't funny. But in reality, it's actually in so many ways it is a good thing. I don't see a bad thing about it. But the problem is that, particularly with the NDIS, they go through carers like nobody's business. And I think a
Yeah.
lot of that is more to do with training and expectations. Um, so you might have a carer who thinks they. It's a bit like a teacher. You ask any young girl at the age of 15 what they want to be, and they all want to be teachers, right, or nurses. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't want to teach.
Veterinarians.
They only want to teach little babies. But
Yep.
then they end up in a classroom with year 12 students, two different animals. Like,
Yep.
you can't even compare the two classrooms, like, at all. So if you want to teach year 11 and 12, then train them to teach year 11 and 12. But don't train them to teach babies and then stick them in a class of year 11 and 12s. It's not going to work.
I have a friend
And
that
it's
works in hey J Pass. I have a friend that works in, he said something really similar to that, and he worked in, it's not, it's, I don't want to say like mental hospital, because like I'm not, it's, but they can be violent even though they're
oh
not
yeah.
bad people. And he taught me, and him talked about that for hours and hours and hours for years, over how like the training exists, but they're never going to put them through it. Not the de-escalation tactics, not the hand, the hand disarms. You put grandma caretaker in there, and all of a sudden Johnny paraplegic's running around with a butcher knife, and it's like, for
Well,
example, I
it's
know
not so
that's
much
kind of a
that.
rough
It's
example, but for
it's
example, or rolling a
also
pin or whatever.
like a lot of these carers tend to be female, right?
Oh yeah.
And if you get 40 and 50-year-old guys who don't have the mentality, or they've got the mentality of a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
So what do teenage blokes do? They go after the girls,
Oh yeah.
except they don't have the mentality to be able to understand where you stop and where you apologise. Um,
Yeah.
so they there's a lot of cases of sexual abuse, not just physical but also mental. Um,
Hmm.
but it's not just that. It's also just plain abuse and plain, mental abuse, verbal abuse, etc., etc. Like, if you go into a patient's room and move their cup, they're likely to throw something at you, not
Wow.
because they're pissed off, but because you move their cup. Um, and it takes a lot of skilled training to be able to build up to the point where you understand what sort of person you're actually dealing with, where you actually understand how you're going to deal with that patient. Um, you've got to have a pretty thick skin, um, but a
Someone
lot of
should be
these
leaving
kids,
notes for you though. Like there should be like a dossier. I can't think of the right
yeah, but
word.
you can. It's like anyone. You can leave notes until the cows come home, but unless you've actually been in that situation before,
Hmm.
you still don't know how to deal with it. Um,
True.
So it's no different to police. I mean, you speak to any cop, person who wants to be a cop, and they want to protect the community. What they don't realise is they're seeing accident scenes where there's more blood and guts than they're ever likely to see in any video game or movie, and it's real.
And it's every night.
They see domestic violence. They see, and not just the way it's shown in the movies. That's the polite version. They see all these things that they just cannot deal with, and it's like an army. You train 16, 17-year-old kids to go and shoot in the army. You're going to go and kill the enemy, blah blah blah. But until a 16, 17-year-old kid's seen, there's a head over there, the rest of the body's over there, but most of the body's gone. It's scattered in a 50-meter radius. How do you train for that? Like, they don't teach them that.
Well, you have to completely wipe out their empathy and you have to deprogram them. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, how are you going to send your kids to go fight child soldiers? Well, you have to completely desensitize them. But then when you bring them back, you have to reintegrate
Oh,
them, which
sorry.
still,
Someone was finishing their dinner as I said that. I apologise for
eh,
that.
such is life. You get used to it. Nana says she worked in an insane asylum and you deal with. Nana, you still work in an insane asylum. You just don't get paid for it. Um,
So yeah, it's. I mean, that's why half these kids come back. By the age
oh
of
yeah,
30, their
there's
their
zombies.
PTSD is so bad, because they've seen their mates blow up. They've seen stuff that kids just shouldn't see,
Yeah.
um, and it's just wrong. And the worst part is most of these places don't actually. Well, until 10 years ago, they didn't even admit that it actually existed.
I don't know.
And even to this day, they still don't really know how to deal with it, so they don't.
Alcohol. I mean the biggest. I mean talking about the military. I'm not in the military, but almost all of my friends were in the military, and the thing is they come back and there's no mission
Yeah.
anymore, and there's nobody to tell them what to do anymore. And on top of all that, which those two things in and of itself, yes, they will get into lots of trouble because there's nothing to do. But on top of that, there's no jobs, and half the assholes here don't want to hire them because they all the non-military people can't stand the military people, and they're threatened and they're intimidated, and or they just hate the military or they hate wars. And what you have here is even when the military get military preference and they get employed, then nobody wants to train them, and then people treat them like shit. And then when they're having a bad day, they immediately want to ban them from the office. Like,
Hmm.
oh, you think that's gonna stop them? I got bad news for you, dude.
Yeah.
This is a joke to them. You think you're gonna send them home? Like, give me a break. And it's they
Yeah.
giving
It's
them something to do is like, but then what do? they end up being police or they end up being security guards, and that's just not fair either.
Well,
Like they
what
want
was
to
the
do
old
their MOSs.
what was the old story? They go to war at 17, they come back on a break at 18, and they're not allowed to drink, they're not allowed to do anything. So
Oh, I know.
they're treated like kids. Um, and
And they can't
instead
own a
they've been over
rifle
there
until
basically
yeah.
shooting and seeing stuff that no adult should ever see.
While everybody's saying, "So did you kill anybody? So did you kill anybody?" And
Yeah,
it's just like, dude, fuck off, man.
yeah. Most of them won't talk about it. They
Yeah,
can't, because the very thought of talking about it is going to set them off, and they know
yeah.
it. Um, you know,
And the people
it's
can't cope with it that ask them that shit anyway. It's like,
yeah,
yeah, I did. Okay, now what? Oh, nothing because you have no frame of reference. So you're
no,
an idiot.
because none of
Yeah.
us have ever been there.
Most of us haven't ever been there.
Hmm.
Hmm. Cessnas.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I know your
uh,
stories.
yeah, mine aren't. Yeah, I. It's that's the thing too. Is like a lot of military would get mad at me, and it's like, and a lot of them, I'm like, a lot of you have been did the same things I was at. You
But see,
guys,
again, this comes
like,
back to the whole level thing, doesn't it?
yeah,
So,
exactly.
there's certain levels that people
Uh
are
oh.
at in no matter where they are. Um,
Don't do it, Nana.
no. Yeah, there's certain levels like, me. I've never had a knife pulled on me. I've never had
Oh
to
god.
be in that
Yeah.
situation. Same again you know, with pew pews. Never, I've certainly shot them, but I have never been shot at. So, none of us know until that actually happens how we're going to react at all.
So hearing a bullet
And then
go
you
by
and then you get the
you.
next level up where people might have
Yeah.
been, you know, once or twice in their life if they're unlucky. And then you go to the next level and the next level up.
Yeah.
And all these people exist in our lives. We
Yeah.
may not have met them, but we walk past them in the street. So, you know, some people are able to control it, some people aren't. So there's
Yeah.
this whole level thing going on in society that most of the time we're never aware of. We don't even know. We think we know, but we don't.
Yeah. I mean, it's something J Pass is talking about. Yeah, bullets make a really weird noise when they fly by you. Most people wouldn't know that because they've never actually been shot at before or have had
Yeah,
bullets go flying by them. They make kind of hissing noise,
I was going to
and
say a
the hiss,
whizzing.
yeah, it's like a hissing kind of a whizzing noise. And the thing is also this is the same thing that movies get wrong, that books get wrong. And in my books, I try to talk about this, but I don't know if I the bullet actually whizzes by your head faster than the sound of the gunshot.
Well,
And
yeah,
you
that's
may or
that's
may not
normally
see
what
the
happens.
flash. Yeah,
Yeah,
so most people, if you hear like 99.99% of the time, if you hear gunshots, you're completely fine.
yeah.
If you hear like hope, yeah, if you hear them go by your head, you're gonna try to squish into that pavement so hard because that's when you know, and then you realize there's not enough steel and concrete around here.
Well, they've
Um,
made it quite clear that you never hide behind a car door. That's the
yeah,
dumbest thing you can do.
and I was watching a movie where yeah, this character picks up a car door and uses it as a shield. I'm like,
Yeah,
no, there's teeny
yeah.
tiny pieces of steel in doors that'll stop a
Oh,
22 and
they've
maybe a 9 mil, but they're teeny tiny, like rigidy, very small. There's an amazing video out there.
and that's the thing. It's not the bullet that actually hurts you. It's the shrapnel that it rips apart
Yeah.
as it goes through something that's probably likely to have you in permanent hurt for the rest of your life.
Yeah, or it
um,
slides across something. There's if you know, there's people that like will hug a wall and then it'll like slide down the
Paint
wall
chips or
to turn
bits of
into
steel or just anything that it basically rips apart as it goes through. So
yeah.
sure they found the bullet, but 30 years later you wonder why you're walking around in tremendous pain all the time, and it's a little bit of bloody paint chip that's stuck in your lung somewhere. It's
Yeah.
like,
Or like one
you know
tiny piece of the jacket could hit you in the neck still,
yeah.
or in the
So
eye or something.
it's, yeah, if someone's ever doing anything like that, get behind the motor block and get your head down.
Yeah. If you can't get behind, yeah, if you can't get behind that, get behind the tires.
Yep. So, and
Hope has
that's
PTDSD. That's some extra.
post
That's
traumatic. What's the D
dinosaur
stand?
stress disorder.
Yeah, I
That's a lot.
know.
That's a lot of
I,
extra letters there.
I don't know.
Um,
There seems to be one extra letter there. It's normally
yeah.
PTSD, but there seems to be an extra D. But that's all
Uh,
right.
but that's
So,
why in my books I say that if you're in a mob situation, um, most most people they will run for a couple seconds, but then as soon as they all realize that they're not hit, they just turn right around and come back. JPass says sagebrush. Hey, if it's the outer limits sagebrush, you can just throw that at them and it'll explode.
I don't know that I'd run. I mean, that'd be the first instinctual thing that most people would do, and I get that. But
Yeah.
wouldn't you drop?
You're supposed to drop. And actually, there was I don't know if you've been seeing my well, you have my posts from the Seattle thing. The
Yeah,
videos are slowly starting to come out about that.
there was
Mm,
something on that today, and apparently the suspects are non-complying with the police at the moment.
yeah. What?
They're not talking to the police, or they're not saying
It's
what the
possible
go
that the
is.
one that they caught. Well, yeah, because they don't want to snitch. So the thing is
That
that
that tells you something straight away. If they're not talking, they're not American,
well, I
or
mean,
they're not
they're
innocent.
not. They're not. I mean, the pictures of the first one got leaked. No, they're a gang. They're a child. We have child gangs here, which
Yeah,
again, going back to the whole child soldier thing.
got the
So I
same thing
forgot
here.
if, yeah, I forgot if I sent you the one from like, oh, maybe 2 weeks ago, but there was a child gang from Seattle. They went all the way down to Portland. There was like four of them. They robbed an Uber driver at gunpoint, chased him around, stole his phone, and then they shot up the city until they finally went to like a 7-Eleven or something. Hit the 7-Eleven guy like 5 times, shot the shit out of the 7-Eleven. This was like a video game or movie like style crime spree. Like it was insane, and they caught them zero mugshots, and they were all under 18. Well, of course they got to protect their identities. They're under 18. I'm like, this was a multi-hour, like multi-day. This isn't even a crime spree. It's not
Just the
terrorist
cost
related.
to be able to
Okay, I don't
run
know
that.
what you. I don't know. And so I think, in my opinion, this is part two of that. And I think that's why the news is not saying anything because they could be Salvadorian. They could be, well, I mean, they're probably from El Salvador, but they could be from really anywhere from Central or South America. And they're not going to say because similar to what happened in Ireland and Scotland, they don't want to, sow illegal discord. When in reality, everybody knows that they're illegals. The fact that they're under 18 just is an excuse. But I think this is an extension of a couple weeks ago. Um, but yeah, people think they're just going to go blasting. And it's like, well, okay, what if they're kids? That would still cause a lot of people to pause, even if they're fat, tubby, illegal kids that are shooting at you. Like that would still
Surely you're not
cause.
getting kid gangs basically stealing cars and doing all that sort of stuff at the moment, though. We're getting that in Adelaide.
No, that's literally so what they did. Here's the thing. There's a couple of insane things about this. They're doing this to Uber drivers. They're also doing this to Waymos. And what they do is they either steal somebody's phone that already has Uber on it, or they just borrow somebody's, because they can't have, they're under 18, they can't have Uber, right?
Right.
So they call Uber somewhere and then they ambush the Uber driver. The Uber driver has no idea they're about to be ambushed because they see somebody on there and the person's got 5 stars, and they say to meet them at this intersection, and the Uber driver looks around, and all of a sudden four of, ethnicity XYZ, use your imagination, jump in the car and start beating the living shit out of them, steal their wallet and their phone, and drive off in the Uber car. Like, it's that fast. And the thing is, like, it'd be so hard for the cops. So Uber can disable that account so they can't use that account again. But by then, they've already stolen the Uber person's phone and can just use the Uber person's phone to just keep calling more Ubers. Like, this shit is broken. If I was the FBI or the CIA, what I would do is I would have some kind of button that could just nuke Uber in an area and say, like, Uber lockdown. Well,
Well, they
Nana,
must be
you don't
doing
drive
it
for
nearly
Uber.
instantaneously after they've stolen someone's phone because, I mean, obviously the first thing you do these days, no different to a credit card, as soon as something's stolen, you you, you ring places up and you cancel it.
Yeah, but if you're an Uber driver in the middle of Piss Town, in the middle of the night, and you just got robbed, you're sitting in there on banging on doors going, someone help, I just got robbed by a gang of teens in air quotes,
Yeah,
someone
and
call
who are all
911.
the Uber drivers? They're all good fearing Americans.
No, they're all also
Yeah.
Pakistanis.
So
Well,
if
yeah, we've talked
you've
about
got
that.
one of these people banging on your door at 1 o'clock in the morning, are you going to bloody open it?
No, and the thing is this guy was definitely some other ethnicity. But the thing is, I get back to square one here. If you had cameras, I guess you'd know the guy's by himself, and if you had a security door, you could just say, "Okay, I'll call 911 for you." Like, are you okay? Like, but if they're just bleeding from head to toe, I honestly probably would. If I could see on my cameras that there was nobody else there, especially if like they might still be in the area, I probably would let him in. If I'm being honest. I mean, letting someone bleed out on my front porch, especially if I know there's 4 teens driving around, because they all had ARs. They like, or at least I think
Jesus.
at least one of them had an AR. I mean, like, this was bad. This was almost like a worst case scenario. And so the one in Seattle, they said there was maybe 3 of them. That they think there was 3, and so it could have easily just been the same thing.
We don't get people with ARs running around the street. It's just they'll
You're
run
lucky.
around with machetes and knives and things like that, but that's about it. It's
Oh, they do that here too. They whatever the home whatever they can get at Home Depot, lots of claw hammers. Um
oh,
and
jeez.
lots of machetes. Yeah, call for them. Yeah, exactly, Nana.
Well,
And
yeah,
when in
that'd be the
doubt,
best.
feed them to the pigs.
That'd be the safest one, especially with all the litigation over there as well. I mean, you let it inside and they bleed out, and then they find out that you've done a first aid course and you get sued your pants off. So it's you better.
Um, you're still covered by Good Samaritan here as long as you don't do something that you weren't trained for. And how they remind us of that, because I've been through all this, is they say, example, don't give someone a tracheotomy.
Just because you
They're
saw it on TV
yeah.
doesn't mean you can do it.
Yeah, they say basically if you do a trach wrong, they're dead in like 5 seconds. And
Yeah,
so they're like, don't do it. You can do almost all of the other choking, anti-choking stuff, and you'd probably save them for most of it, unless their throat swells up.
yeah.
And even yeah, so trach is one. Doing an IV, don't do an IV for people. Like, the ambulance likes to do their own IV anyway. Life Flight likes to do their own IV anyway. Don't do an IV.
Oh,
Things like that.
I just keep thinking of that woman whose baby fell out of like a fourth story window, and this guy happened to be walking around and caught the baby, and then they sued him because the baby ended up with something broken or something anyway. I mean, because it fell out of a fourth story window. Even if you
Was that in
catch it,
Australia?
it's gonna break something. So they sued him, and
Was
the
that in
courts just
Australia?
said, no, this was in America,
Oh,
and they
wow.
said I think the judge basically said, "Are you freaking serious? Why is this even in court?"
Wow,
Like,
that's
they actually came across a sensible judge, who basically threw it out and said, he saved your baby. Maybe don't put him on the balcony next time.
yeah. Um, yeah, that's weird. I mean, you're not really giving someone life saving. I mean, I think it's probably the same. Like, if someone's drowning and you go save them, and then you, I don't know, punch them in the face so they don't drown you, it's probably kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
Which is why if someone's burning in a car, I just make sure they can't open the door.
Well, I mean, if they bought a Tesla,
I
that
know you
makes.
got. I'm like, I don't know how to open this thing without hurting myself.
I wouldn't know how to open a Tesla door anyway. I mean, there's videos at the moment where people are basically throwing their key inside the car and wondering why they can't open the car again. I mean,
Yeah,
the
it's
level of stupidity running around at the moment is just unbelievable.
yeah. I would probably. I wouldn't. I wouldn't even fuss with the door. I'd probably smash a window.
Well, they're bulletproof, apparently.
The Cybertrucks, they're
Yeah,
not bulletproof from a 9 mil. Um, not if I shoot the corners. Um, yeah.
I don't know.
Anyway, I'll try it. If I have to save somebody's life, no. Yeah. You know what? If I took my pen out and I smashed the window really really hard and like nothing happened, and then I get my knife out, and if I get like a rock in my knife and then like smash my knife through the window and the window still doesn't break, honestly
Well, you can actually get.
shooting it probably wouldn't do that much, because if it's
Now, what is it?
if it's anti shatter glass, I would need an. Oh, you know what though? In my car, I keep a Spax, and I could actually still get through the window with that thing. Exactly,
Okay.
Nana. Yeah, I have a
Window.
Spax. A Spax can go right through a window, no problem. That's why I keep it in there. Actually, both of my cars have a
Yeah,
Spax in
there we
them.
go. Okay, so you can actually get key rings, and they've got. So I'm looking
Sledge.
at a thing called emergency car window smashing tool with light.
Yeah, but I don't know if those will go through a shatterproof window.
I don't know.
Yeah,
These basically use like because there's also a seatbelt cutter. Um,
yeah, those are.
because so the idea is that if you're trapped in a car and you need to get out, and you can't get the seatbelt off, then basically you can cut the seatbelt, and then it's got this thing where you press it up against the glass, and then it just instantly shatters the glass. So
No,
the
I don't
idea
think
is you
that'll
can
go
get
through.
out,
I don't think
and they
those will
cost
go through.
like $8. They're like next to nothing, and all you do is throw it on your keyring for your car and carry it around all the time.
Yeah, but that's not what you said. You said shatterproof windows.
Well, I don't know whether it actually does shatterproof windows.
I don't think so, because I think if those have like where even if you shoot a hole through it, it would just make a tiny hole. So I
Well,
linked a
yeah, and that's not
Spax.
that's not really helpful.
No, it's not. That's why I had to think about that for a second. So I linked a Spax in the chat. Those are for opening cars. That's their whole purpose. They're like a big can opener. In my book, I talk about these, and
Yes.
these things are the car tool. Now, granted, if you tried to open a Tesla, you might still electrocute yourself, um, but you would be able to get it open eventually. Um, yeah, I keep one of those in every
Holy
car.
shit. That Spax thing is bloody.
You can't get a Glock
Jeebus.
anymore. I'm sorry, Kim. Are you? Do you live in one of the states where they got rid of all the modern pistols? The Supreme Court is supposed to rule on that any day, allegedly in Minecraft, but Illinois and New Jersey and all of them, yeah, Cali, yeah, they're all still trying to. I forgot you live in California. Why, why do I keep forgetting where you live? Anyway, um, maybe soon, Kim, or just 3D print one in Minecraft. All right, take it easy, Nana. You'd be surprised how
No.
shatterproof old windows are. Honeycomb pattern. Ooh, oh, yeah. They got the funny wires in them. Yeah, well, the Spacs can go through those too. I know what you're talking about.
That Spax thing looks deadly.
Yeah, it sucks for a chopper, but it's because it's a car chopper, not a wood chopper. That's why it's angled. It's angled like a
God,
can opener.
it's crazy.
Yeah, Sig makes some good ones too, J-Pass, but the problem is like if she's gonna get a Glock or a Sig or a Springfield or whatever, I think for those to be California compliant, they have to have like smaller than a 10 round mag, seven rounds. I can't remember what it is. It's some insanely small number. The rides kept breaking down, man. Okay, good job. So that was the warm up. So now you have to actually ask me book questions now.
Oh, do I?
Well, yeah, I thought that
Okay.
was the whole point.
Yeah.
One of the ones you brought up, my favorite one, which you're unfortunately every time we do this, you're just going to hear more about this later because I pre-recorded a ton of this stuff before we even talked about it. 10 rounds, okay. You can still get a Sig P365. Um, anyway, the whole survival book thing, like,
Yeah.
there's so
What
many
what was
survival.
what
Yeah.
is the difference between your book and well, okay, let's start. Let's just deal with bunker basics for the time
Yeah.
being, right?
Yep, that's the easiest
Because
way to go.
the summer edition is about to be released.
Yep.
And how many pages have you added to the book as opposed
Somewhere
to previous
between
editions?
somewhere between like 35 and 40 pages so far.
Okay, so the new book has basically gone more away from prepping, um, and has gone more down the homestead route. Is there a reason for that?
Yeah, absolutely. Um, if you look at the top 100 bestsellers in survival and emergency preparedness, none of them are about that at all. And it's all of the books I found are either very, very well known, thorough farming and animal husbandry encyclopedias, or like number two right now is How to Not Die in Prison. Oh, I'm sorry. I think that sounds like some entertainment bullshit, right? Not I'm not
Didn't
even
they do?
joking.
Didn't they do a movie on that?
Yeah.
A
And then
comedy
number
movie?
1 is Make Your Bed. Little things that can change your life and maybe the world by some admiral that sold 51,000 copies, so that's some kind of bullshit right there. Then of course number 3
Probably.
everybody knows is the SAS. Number 4 is 100 Deadly Skills, which we know is bullshit. Number 5 is Meals in a Jar, which is bullshit. Um, Number 6 is something called Sold, which I don't know, child trafficking a 13-year-old girl, apparently. I don't know that why I
Mm.
don't know why that's on the survival page. And then
Probably
of course
because
number 7 is
I've got an
survive.
idea, but
Yeah, but it's inappropriate. That's so weird.
she was probably interviewed on Redacted or a number of these
Oh,
non-mainstream channels, and that's and
oh
they're
yeah.
basically pushing the books.
Yes. Yep. And then 7 is survival hacks. We all know about that one. Um, number 8, 5 days at Memorial. I've got no idea what that is. But number 9 is the one we all know, survival medicine. Number 10 is a reissue of 100 Deadly Skills. Number 11 is edible plants, and then the knots, and then the bushcraft, and then a reissue of survival, and then a reissue of knots. And then this sequence just repeats forever. And I don't know if you remember, I did a whole video on just how this sequence of prepping, quote unquote, prepping survival books just repeats. And then Star Wars, How to Not Get Eaten by Ewoks. Why is that? That's number 33. Why?
I'd imagine it's a title only to make people buy the book, and then they realise, oh, it's about bears and coyotes and other stuff.
I don't know. It says captured by stormtroopers, choked by a Sith, kidnapped by hostile Tusken raiders, trapped on an exploding Death Star,
Clearly not a
baked to death.
Jedi.
It's this is like it's cute, but it's the point is, and then another edible, and then
Well, I reckon the 10
yeah,
ways to make the bed is probably now a textbook as part of the U.S. Army and Rangers and God knows what
yeah,
else. And so
yep.
51,000 students have had to buy it. They didn't want to buy it, but they had to buy it because it was a
Oh,
textbook. Um,
yeah,
so there's probably reasons certain books just
yeah,
go through the roof.
yeah, and they'll disappear, but the rest won't,
Yeah.
and
So,
so it'll be back to SAS and knots,
but
and
getting back to bunker basics.
well, that's what
I
I
s-
mean. Is
yeah.
like there's no there's no homesteading books there. There's not even most of the gear and the tech stuff is not there. They very rarely those are survival books, survivalist books, and bushcraft books, and those do not get you prepped at all.
Yeah, so they're basically running off a bug out bag, whereas
Yeah.
you're looking at a more sort of bug in sort of scenario.
Well, so basically, what happened
Because
was,
obviously it's set up
yeah,
as if you find an imaginary bunker and all the gear's already there, but sort of taking that to the next step, it's like, well, okay, we don't have a bunker, but how would we go about all this?
well, I think finding a bunker is more more likely than people think. I
Mm,
um I was the whole inspiration from that angle was watching one of my favorite YouTubers who likes to buy properties at just they find just the most absolute dirt cheap worthless properties on the planet because they think they look cool and it doesn't really cost them anything, like in Alaska and stuff.
oh,
And so they were like, what's this over here? And it's like, oh, uh, like the roof was gone, but it was like an above ground concrete bunker. And they opened the totes and there was food from like the 90s and jars of stuff. And that was my inspiration. And I ended up watching 2 or 3 videos of people finding, even if you're in the UK, like what do they all have? They all have bomb shelters from World War II.
well, yeah, I was going to say a lot of places in America actually. I think there were. Did they actually pay to get like backyard bomb shelters actually built?
Yeah. Yeah, in the 60s.
Yeah, during the Cold War. So all these people basically built these little 3 meter, I suppose 10 foot by 10 foot bunkers. They came
Yes.
as like a kit form or something like that, and you actually built it. Got out there with dad and the son would get out there and build it over the course of the weekend, and
Yep.
if the Russians, if those commie bastards came and bombed us, we could run into our bomb shelter. um, and that was pretty much the intent, because most of the cities didn't have the budgets to build bigger ones, and then they actually
Well,
didn't think you would have enough time to get there, which is probably true.
if you were near a base, you'd see the flash, and that's all she wrote.
Yeah,
Um, and now with how fast the missiles are, golly, I mean they're 100 miles away, and then there's the flash. It's even the military. Uh, even I think 10 or 15 years ago, like how they talk about needing to evacuate the White House for it's V number 5. Holy shit! Did little Marco send you? Um, even the White House, like they don't have time to go to 5 different
no.
places. I mean, because hypersonic missiles are like launched. Oh, it's here! Yay! Well, that was over. That was easy.
Well, yeah, they used to have like 8 minutes to work out what they were going to do. Because they'd see the flash on the from the satellites. Because at the
Yeah, the
time,
launch. Yes,
luckily,
they
everyone
see the
actually
launch.
told you where the launches were and said this is where they are. So what did everyone
Yes.
do? Shoved up satellites that pointed at the launch sites. These days, apparently, all you need is a decent mountain and a launcher, and you just roll it out and you just fire it, and it can go anywhere in the world.
Yeah,
So,
or submarines, which are super sketchy
which is the other
because
way?
they
Yeah,
can launch those. He said vote for him in 2028. I don't know. I think JD Vance or DJ Vance, depending on which news article you read, sounds like he's going to be him.
yeah.
But
Sorry, I've been
maybe little
hacking.
Marco will be VP.
I've been jumping into some of these news articles and just changing them.
There was I can't remember if it was Fox or who it was. They were like so JD Vance, one of his Secret Service leaked. We're going way off now, but hey, we're talking about White House stuff, so it's okay. One of his Secret Service leaked where they were going. Where God, now I'm just gonna start calling him
Oh, awesome.
DJ, which is you would have thought they would have had all these holes plugged. I mean, Orange Man's been trying to plug these holes now for almost 2 years, and it was a non-official thing, and he was still taking the official stuff. This was I was talking about this a while back. This happened with Cash Patel, and so now for it to happen all the way up to JD, I think his wife was there too, and obviously she's pregnant again. So this it could have been a very, 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 very bad situation. It was even though it was unofficial, it was still an unannounced trip. This guy, this Secret Service guy, if I'm not mistaken, had paparazzi waiting, or the news, or both? Question mark. Anyway, but yeah, the news article said
Jesus.
DJ Vance, and so and that really kind of what? But no, then they fixed it. So anyway, that's where that joke. I know deep. Oh, she did have the baby. Well, congratulations.
Yeah, I was going to
It's a
say,
boy.
didn't he
I
go
don't know.
missing about 9 months ago? He wasn't in the news or anything like that. Well, I guess we know where he was now. Just saying.
That's why you all follow the news, and I don't have to follow the news because you guys just tell me. Criminy Christmas, you jumping on me like a bunch of pack animals.
But anyway, back to the book.
Oh yes.
Bunker basics is what we're
So you
talking
won't have
about
enough
here.
time to get to your bunker unless you're in the White House. That's literally has the bunker right underneath you.
Yeah, which is
Um,
probably why they've just spent so many trillions of dollars basically building a new one. But
Yeah,
anyway,
but that's
apparently
why a
the
lot of
old.
people build their bunkers under their garage. So at least you have some kind of chance of getting to it.
So even though
Yeah.
I suppose that was another question I actually asked was not everyone's rich enough to build a bunker. So why should they
Yeah.
still buy your book?
Man, I get that question I get that question so much. I always want to answer it two different ways. Number one, what do you mean you don't have enough money to buy a bunker? That always like just what what do you mean? What's that mean? Dig a hole, bury. That's what I always say. I always go dig a
Well, we
hole
could
and bury
always dig a
yourself.
hole and bury a shipping container, couldn't we?
No, oh, you watch me just flip out. I
Oh,
actually
oh, you
put
mean we
that.
can't do that? Why is that, Chance?
I don't know if you read the next edition of my book. I wrote a whole thing on that. It drove me insane. There is also a really really good video that explains. By the time you're done with it, you just wasted a shipping container.
P.S. By the way, no one should do that because shipping
Yeah,
containers aren't designed to actually take any weight on the roof. They're designed to take the weight down through the four
the four
corners and
pillars. Yeah,
the middle poles only, not
yeah,
the actual roof of the shipping container. So please don't ever bury a shipping container.
yeah.
I'll put that in there just for clarity's sake.
Yeah, and in the next edition of my book, I wrote a whole thing explaining why you shouldn't do that because I got so sick and tired of arguing with people about it. Um, Kimberly asks a really freaking good question. Griffin, did you see? Oh, did I send that? When
Yes,
there was just like the hole. It was under their garage, wasn't it? Just the hole opened up
yes.
under their garage.
Look,
I was like, a bunker. It's a bunker.
in answer to Kimbria, you can actually do bunkers under the garage if you're building the house from the start,
Yeah,
because it can be engineered to actually take the weight of the vehicles. So basically, when it comes to engineering, there's two different types of loads. The first one is called a live load, and the second one is called a dead load. So a live load is one that moves, and a dead load is one that sits still and doesn't ever move. Right? So a bunker can be designed to go underneath the garage if you're building the house from scratch. If you're building a house, or if you've bought a house and you choose to do a bunker underneath the garage, not a great idea, because nothing above the ground line has actually been designed to actually take the sort of
the
or
resting weight.
take into account the fact that there's now a whopping great big hole underneath it. So if you were to build a bunker and you did have an existing house, my suggestion would be to put it out in the backyard somewhere and then build a shed over the top.
Griffin
Um,
built a bunker.
just something that hides it. But you certainly can't put it under an existing house, no.
But what you can do, this is not in my book, but it should be. If you go watch Atlas Bunker's channel, they will rip out your driveway, which is about 1 billion times safer
Yes,
because they can dig it out, put the bed down, level it, make a
put a load
concrete
bearing,
bed.
yeah,
Yeah, then they can
and put a
drop.
load bearing roof on the top. Yep.
Yeah, they drop the bunker in, and then they. I can't remember if they re-pour it. I can't remember how they do the next. And then what they can do, though, is they can angle the entryway to still be from inside your garage or whatever, or flip open a
Yeah.
rhododendron and jump in.
So underneath most houses is what they call compacted soil. And as
Hopefully,
soon as you dig a hole and then fill it back up again, that's called uncompacted soil. And uncompacted soil will move differently depending on the seasons to compacted soil.
fill with water.
So you try to minimize the amount of uncompacted dirt you actually have underneath a building. And when you actually go to found the house through the foundations, it normally goes through that uncompacted soil into compacted soil by at least a foot to 2 feet. So that way you're not going to get the movement that you would in the uncompacted side of things.
Yeah, you need a giant
There's
pogo stick looking machine.
Yeah, there's basically a heck of a lot of engineering that goes into building a house. It's not as simple as what it first seems. And like I've said to a lot of people, you guys have got these massive heat waves over there at the moment. What I would strongly suggest that most people be doing at the moment is water your trees, not the grass, because the tree will kill a house, the grass won't. So if you've got prize-winning roses out the front and a big oak tree sitting next to the house, water the tree and do it regularly. Make sure it's happy, um, and that way your house will not move anywhere near as much. Um, but if all you're doing is watering the grass and trying to keep a lawn looking pretty, stop it and water the tree.
And if you are a real go-getter, you can hook a microphone up to your hat, and then you go, "I'm gonna water, and you're gonna listen,"
And I'm
and
going
there
to
you
forget
go.
my clippers and my.
And forget the clippers. Yeah,
But
and then a
yes,
Cessna goes by, then the neighbors pop out.
um,
And then yeah, five trucks drive by.
yeah. But going back to bunker
Oh,
basics, which is what the topic of the
hey, it
conversation is
has
today.
watering trees in my book, so there you
Well,
go.
there you go. Yeah. So yeah, you really have gone down the homestead route, haven't you? So maybe you could sort of describe what you've added extra on top, just for anyone who's thinking of buying the book, if they've
Yeah,
already
so
got a copy.
yeah, I'll try to sell the future copy of the book because that's what I was
Yeah, go
talking
for it.
about to
Yeah.
myself earlier. So you know what else? You know what else people don't have on their homesteads besides bunkers? Potato sheds. And not having a potato shed has been the bane of my existence for a long time. And as idiotic as it sounds, like why do you need a potato shed? Oh,
Well,
try to preserve potatoes without a potato shed. Guess what?
we
It's really
we
freaking
were
hard.
talking about growing potatoes in 5-gallon buckets earlier in my life.
That's
So
right.
there you go.
But what do you do with them? So you've got two options. Turn them into food. Actually, three options. Turn them into food, preserve them, or keep some for seed potatoes. So keeping them for seed potatoes in and of itself is kind of a special bitch. But if you just want to keep them in potato form because you're not sure how many you're going to get from your harvest yet, you can't just leave them out in the sun. You can't just leave them out in the shade. You can't leave them where the cats are going to use them like the kitty litter box. And so me and the tool helping me write this thing got into a huge hour-long debate earlier about the psychology. Okay, when you're on a homestead, you want cats, right?
Right.
But the cats are gonna, because the cats keep the mice and rats and rabbits away, hopefully. So, but guess what the cats are gonna do? The cats are gonna shit in your potatoes because cats love shitting in potatoes. And the neighbors have two cats, and guess what? Two cats do. Two cats doubly shit in the potatoes, and you get myco. Fuck. There's a couple different viruses that outdoor cats have because outdoor cat. This is all in my book. Outdoor cats eat potentially tainted meat, and that gives them this kind of a brainworm virus.
Sounds more
Um,
like a fox.
I think they actually might have the same thing.
Yeah.
It's a really long word. Hold on.
Which is why you don't ever eat an animal that actually eats meat.
Yeah, taxo. Yeah, you don't eat
Prey
om,
animals.
uh, carnivore. Yeah. So toxoplasmosis, um, the numbers I've heard are a little all over the board. I've heard as many as 1 in 5 people are asymptomatic with toxoplasmosis, which is like a fucking brain worm um, that people get from playing with cat turds. And
Why
Guess
would
what
you
the
want to?
easiest why would
Why
you
would
want to
you
play
want
with
to
cat turd?
play with?
Because you don't mean to, because they shit in your potatoes.
Because I must admit, I've known guys that have grown potatoes, and basically what they do is they keep the dirt on them, and because they don't clean them, and then they put them into Hessian bags and leave them in a shed,
Yeah.
where the door's lockable. Yes.
If there's no moisture, you can do that.
Mm.
And if the mice won't get into them, because then you end up with mice and mice piss and mice feces, then you've got a whole other problem.
Yeah, it has to be a
Um,
regular shed that you're going into all the time. So
yeah.
something
So
that,
what else is in my books? I think at least if you stop going into a spot, mice can like sense that shit.
mm,
It's not foolproof, but they definitely know somehow when you haven't been in a spot for a while. Little assholes. Um, but different. Yeah. So potato shed. What I did was I finally again I had to argue with my tool for about an hour until I figured I have a 27-gallon tote that I power drilled holes in. But you're gonna laugh. I did all that work, and then I'm like, all right, I have cardboard on the bottom, and they're like, no, that literally contradicts what you wrote in the book because that's just going to get soggy and rot all your
yeah,
potatoes. I'm like, son of a
yeah.
bitch. But the thing is, if you just leave paper, there's nowhere for the water to go. So you almost have to use cardboard at the beginning until they dry, and then you throw the cardboard away, switch it out with dry paper once the potatoes are dry. But what I also didn't do, and this is going into the next edition of my book, I did not drill holes in the bottom of the tote.
I was going to say, yeah, what happens if you just drill holes in the bottom of the tote and then set it up on like a couple of bricks?
Yeah, right. You have to set it up on a couple bricks because there's no airflow in your garage,
Yeah,
which means
that's
having
right.
all these holes in your tote is fucking useless.
Absolutely useless. Yeah.
And so it's just like this is the whole thing of needing a potato shed, and it's just like golly, like is
Well, that's
nuts.
another way of doing it is putting gravel in the bottom. Yeah. Right
No,
between.
no. I mean, under your tote is okay, but you don't want the gravel touching your potatoes because it'll just
No,
gouge
but if
holes
they're
in
in
the
if
potatoes.
they're in a Hessian bag, have a great night, JPass.
Yeah. Good night, James. Yeah. Still no wind though. It's almost like you need like some kind of an induction fan or some kind of. See, I have fans that work off of heat stoves. I almost need like a solar. I need like solar fans, but with no battery. So I've got like a solar. I've got the fan with a solar battery right now.
Yeah, I've
But
got
I
a
need
couple of
a fan.
USB charge fans out bush.
Yeah, but I
That
need one
basically
that's
you,
just solar and fan with no battery. Is what I need.
yeah.
Seraphim will donate potatoes. Thank you, Seraphim. I know
Because
our
funnily enough,
oh
if you grow potatoes, they'll last a hell of a lot longer than what you'll than the potatoes you buy from the grocery store. They just last.
the
Oh, the
ones
ones
from
from
the
the
grocery
grocery.
store last because they put magic sauce on them.
No, the ones from the grocery store are basically gone inside of 2 weeks. They're dead.
Uh,
Um, they're unusable. Um, but the ones you actually grow from home tend to last a couple of
oh
months.
oh 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 yes. So we had a bag from the store and I left it out to go to seed and yeah it no seeds because they spray something on those so those will not go to seed and it rotted and molded instead. So yeah, I am agreeing with you to be clear. And yes,
Hmm.
properly stored, they'll last quite a while unless they warm up, but then they get all happy and start turning into tentacle
Yeah,
monsters.
see, I mean that's the biggest thing is climate. I mean it's all
Yeah,
related to climate.
yeah.
I mean you guys you guys basically go snow um, to what you've got now, which is 100 plus degrees. So there's a massive difference in the climate. Whereas our temperature, I mean, we get frosts. We get down to -3 overnight, but during the day, it's still 12, 11 degrees during the day, and then during summer, 35 at night, 43 during the day. So there
Yeah,
is
if it
a
gets too if it gets too hot, they sweat,
yeah,
and then they get all kind of like wrinkly nut sacks with tentacles after a while, and you're
and
in
I think
trouble.
that's why a lot of the bags are Hessian. Like if you can put them in Hessian, then it breathes better, it allows water transfer better. Um, yeah, it's Hessian bags are far better than plastic bags
Yeah, they
or
breathe.
even those. They use these certain bags for horse feed. It's like
Like a
string
burlap.
with I don't
Yeah.
know, yeah, burlap or something. So yeah, I don't know what it is. They use it in horse feed and chicken feed and stuff like that, but it's not plastic. And it's not Hessian. It's something in between.
Seraphim says, hilarious actually mentioning solar fans. They make no sense. Charging with a phone charger to be outside in a tent for camping. Too
It's
many.
like the solar powered torch for a submarine. Or
Well,
the what was it? The fly screen doors for a submarine.
yeah.
It sounds like it would never work, but it does.
Yeah,
So
solar
yeah,
fans definitely work. Solar phone chargers definitely work. I don't know what you're talking about, Seraphim. All of those things definitely work. So, in fact, the newer tents have little hangy doodles, so you can hang your solar
uh,
fans, so
have you
it'll
ever
switch your
noticed those
on
hangers
and off.
never actually go over anything that's designed to be in a tent?
Yeah, I know.
Like you end up having to put a bit of string over the top of one of the poles
You
and
need
dangle the
shock
hanger
cord.
off that.
Yeah,
It's,
you need shock cord. Basically, I agree. Shock cords like that. That's kind of super heavy rubber band almost like a
so getting
cargo netting basically.
so getting back to bunker basics.
Yeah, I'm
So
writing a note for
beyond the
myself.
potatoes.
Solar fans. No, you're right. Like, hold on. Solar fan. Solar fan. Okay. There we go. Yes, I need those for my makeshift potato shed. Yes. So tomorrow I'm going to be working on my potato shed more. Yes.
Right.
Back to the book.
Yes. So beyond potatoes, you've
Oh,
obviously got into watering, weeding, all the things that you've been doing as we've been listening.
yep.
And anything else that you want to add that without sort of giving too much away, because obviously we want people to buy your book. So I don't get anything out of this, by the way. I'm just saying that. But
Yeah.
I just like to see people succeed. That's all. So
No, I appreciate it. I'm actually going to cheat and open my document that has all the no my log. So since uh, I have like a couple of months of logs, this is the very first time that I actually have kept like a really good log on what I've done. There's a bunch of new drone
is a log
stuff.
like a diary?
Oh, shut up. Shut up. I'm a computer guy. I call them logs. I don't know what to tell you. I'm trying to. Oh, you know what? The other really big one. I did some drone stuff. I always do some tech updates, but the drone thing, not the drone thing. The riding mower thing is like my new big, toy.
Hmm.
And properly mulching. If you read everything on the internet of how to mulch, remember I told you like go get pine needles. It's like what? And it was talking about like protecting your potatoes from cat turds, and it was like go get pine cones and go get jagged gravel and all this stuff. I'm like, you need to knock it off. Like you need to. I don't know where you read your prep ideas from, but the mower, a lot of the mower stuff, um, it's like get sandpaper and sandpaper the inside of the elbow, and then get dry lube, dry spray lube, and all this stuff. I'm like, this is insane. This is insane. Like, and so, but I go test it all, doesn't work. So
No.
I whenever I debunk stuff like that, I put it in the book. So a bunch of this stuff, you know some of my riding mower escapades.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a bunch of riding mower
Well, you were trying to
stuff in
get it to
there.
plow and do things like that. So
No, I'm not going to do that because you told me that that wasn't going to work. So I'm not going to try to argue with you on that one.
I didn't. When did I say it wasn't going to work?
Somebody told me it wasn't going to work.
I think, yeah, it's basically you've probably got to dig down too deep, and the lawnmower probably doesn't have the weight to be able to push it down.
I don't even think. Did you say that you had to like you have to get the grass layer off first anyway, right? So you got to do a controlled burn to get the grass off. That in
Yes.
of itself would give me a freaking heart attack, and the neighbors a heart attack, um, and the cow has a heart attack, and the horse a heart
Well,
attack. So even
even if
after
you
I did
mowed
that,
it down, I mean, my biggest concern would be that,
yeah,
I mean, you know what it's like with weeding, right? You pull out a weed, and unless you get the whole weed, you're never going to get the seed.
yeah, and these roots go down like 6 to 8 inches.
Yeah.
Like this cow grass is just, it's like the second toughest grass I think in the U.S.
So
Uh,
so you'd need to get the whole lot out, and because otherwise, season after season, you'd end up having to use chemicals to get rid of the grass because it will just keep coming back.
yeah, so if you have a plow that can go down 6 inches, 6 to 8 inches, I guess theoretically you could just rip it all up,
Yeah, and
unless
of
you could
course
get the grass.
the mower's not going to be able to do that. So
Yeah, it weighs enough, but I don't think it has enough torque. It would probably burn the motor out if I had to
yeah,
guess. Um, but yeah, so that's I forgot why we're talking about. Oh, because you were teasing me. Yeah, so but I do have a little dump. We have a little dump trolley for it. But right now, I almost call them the bunker bags. I call them the bunker bags. They're my mulch bags. Those are on there because I got to mulch a bunch of stuff, and that's in my book because like, oh, um, one second. So yes, I will send you the link again.
so we're talking about bunker basics,
Yep.
and Chance actually has a new version of the book coming out very shortly. Just before Rosemary goes, can we give an idea of when this is going to be commercially available?
Oh yeah, I'm like 90% done. I'm actually gonna try to finish it by this weekend, but it's still gonna be a ways away. So if you buy this copy, then you can give me feedback on the next one and yell at me. That's what I tell people. It takes a while. So Jim has to finish the cover. Um,
Jim being optical gem, for
yep,
those that don't know.
yep. Oh, thank you, Seraphim. Um, yeah, the cover has to be done. I'm gonna proofread it another time. Every time I hit publish, I find that I miss something. I'm not doing that again. This one is done when it gets done. I'm not rushing this one. I have all of the spring stuff out for summer that I was gonna get. So you're still getting a great book. It's just not gonna have a lot of the newer homestead and a lot of the newest tech. But how many of you are buying drones right now?
Well, I've already got one, so
Yeah, and I'm waiting for the next ones to come out. So I eventually want to get to a place to where my homesteading's caught up, but I have a feeling like I didn't get the shipping container, so I'm probably going to learn a whole bunch of more stuff. But this one's got a bunch of shipping container stuff in it.
yeah.
Um, a
So
bunch of
the
companion
rest
things.
of the book is probably more for prepping as opposed to homesteading, although the two kind of mix to a certain extent. because obviously drones can be used on a homestead, radios can be used on a homestead, solar can be used on a homestead, batteries, etc., etc. So can you sort of explain what's throughout the rest of the book, as opposed to the homesteading side of things?
Are you asking me for homesteading stuff or non-homesteading stuff? Because you
Bit
confuse
of
me.
both. Yeah, pretty much what it. I mean, obviously you've added these pages for homesteading, which predominantly sort of relate to homesteading, but the rest of it was pretty much a prepping sort of book
The part
prior to that,
the
and
part
you've
that I'm
just
the
expanded
most
on it, correct?
yeah. So for example, we lived in somebody's back room for like 6.5 years, so it was very much prepping. But what it didn't have in it was like, how do you actually germinate a seed? Like, so you were talking about the seed vault thing earlier.
Yep.
During the Rona, so many people just bought a seed vault and they're like, all right, I'm ready for the end of the world. And I thought that too. I got my little, yeah, you
We
know,
all did.
we all did. We didn't know any better.
No.
But like, have you ever actually tried to germinate a seed? Like, do you put it in a Ziploc bag with, some water and a paper towel and hope for the best and then hope you don't
Most people just throw it
sneeze
in the
and
ground and hope for the best.
right. Oh, okay, Rosemary. Good luck getting out of the country. If I don't think my book covers that yet, but maybe the next edition. That sounds, yeah. I don't know. That's an interesting topic for another day. Thanks for checking my
Well,
book
she's
out.
in the UK. She could get the coloured version of Bunker Buddies.
Oh, I keep forgetting she's in the UK. Well, then you need to talk to Jim Jim, and then you guys can escape together. She's
Exactly.
in Methchester. Are you near
Manchester,
Methchester?
for those that aren't quite aware.
It's the same place. Um, yeah. Well, yeah. We talk about the UK, Ireland, and Britain like a lot. That is really sketchy. Um, get to Canada, and then sneak over like everybody else does. Um, but like getting a seed to germinate. As soon as we moved here, that was basically the first thing I tried to do. And holy cow. So forget, even if you did put it in the ground and it magically did something, which there's just about a 0%. There's a couple of things you can do that with, but most things, it's called direct germination. Like it says in my book, there's most things don't directly germinate. In fact, for fun, I tried it with peppers, didn't work. Um, and you have to do one of two things. You have to either put it in a cup with some holes and soak the living heck out of it and keep it warm and keep light above it. Or you got to put it in wet zippy bags and then hope you don't sneeze and watch the germinated seeds everywhere. Or don't touch them because the oil on your hands will kill them. And then from there, it's like, okay, cool, I got them to germinate. Now, how do I transplant them without them just going into shock and killing them? And then after I crossed that path, it was, how do I get them to acclimate to the sun and the wind without them immediately dying? Like, it is legitimately batshit insane to oh, call Jim. I call her Jim to tease her.
Yeah, it's an accent thing, I think, Rosemary. Gem is basically GEM.
Yeah,
Gem.
she's the artist for
Say
my
it fast
books.
enough and it sounds like Jim.
Yeah, we used to call her that because other people used to mispronounce her name and call
She's
her
one of the
Jim.
mods in Marfugal TV and news.
Ah,
Um,
yes, and
and
she sings.
you'll often see her on my channel as well as in Chance's channel sometimes. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised she's not here, but
Oh, she probably got shit
it's
to do.
also
So
late slash early there. But yeah, she's in Methchester, so you can maybe network with her. She's a character. Um, so that's just to get a seed, to even germinate, and then to even get it transplanted, because it's never going to be. I started just doing them directly to a big enough cup to where I don't have to deal with half of that mess. And then to get it to acclimate outside, and then to get it, oh my gosh, and then to get it actually to establish into the ground properly and not put it in the ground and immediately die, because it goes into shock every single time you move it. And every single time, and then that's, a mouse doesn't just come and eat the tips off of all of them, which is what happened last year. Because if you have a greenhouse, the mice are still starving their little mouse balls off, and they'll just go eat the tips off of all your tomatoes, your tomato sprouts, their little buttholes. So
because they can.
because they can, and they're starving.
Mm.
Thank you.
Well, it sounds like your book sort of pretty much covers everything that, because like I said, there's parts in there about drones, there's parts in there about batteries and solar. Do you get, obviously there's two parts to solar. There's the fixed panels, there's the foldable panels. Do you get much into, I mean, even in regards to the batteries? I have read the book, by the way. I need to read it again. I'm going to say that because it's been a while. But do you get much into where the the uses for certain types, or foldable, or solid, or
I
um,
stopped. I explained what all the hard panels are, because by now, in the year of our Lord 2026, there's now, I don't even know how many generations of hard panels. And I was on somebody's chat the other couple weeks ago, and even like the current generation of bifacial panels, the efficiency is completely different for all of them.
mm,
And forget explaining that to a new person. Just forget it. Like, it's way, way too much. And so, um, exactly, Seraphim. And so forget that with a bag of chips and crisps. And so most everybody understands the floppy panels, and you've either got FT60s or some kind of 8 millimeter barrel, or whatever the red and black Andersons, or what, like some kind of connector that's like really obvious, and some kind of voltage range that's like, you can, within a couple minutes, most people with like a sixth grade education can understand floppy panels if they can plug in a kilowatt meter and figure out. You guys have those in Australia too, don't you? The
yeah, yeah,
kilowatt.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
good. Good boy. That scared me for a second. So,
Yeah, we do. We deal with
they just have a
these
funny
things
shape.
called volts.
Yeah, but you guys have, your
And
kilowatt
watts.
meter probably has a different shape to it, right? I'm
Look, the
assuming.
connections are probably different, but at the end
Yeah,
of the day, they do the
it's the
same
same
thing.
thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's like a PowerPoint, I mean, we use 240-volt PowerPoints. I think you
Mm.
guys have got 220 or something, like just
Yeah,
just your normal
two
power outlet around
two
home.
forties, because it's 120 and 120 makes 240,
Yeah. So,
but the shape's
um,
different, I think.
yeah, I mean, we've still got 12-volt things. We've still got USB-Cs and Anderson plugs
Well,
and God knows what else. Some people are absolute experts at it. Um, I'm not one of
yes.
them.
Right,
But
and so I wrote this in a way that just completely circumvents all that,
yeah,
because I've had to explain it to so many damn people with zero solar panel education or experience, which is everybody. Um, like 99% of the same thing with like drones and radios. Like, this stuff is written for like just lowest common denominator. I'm not saying people are stupid, but the problem is a lot of these YouTubers act like this is like mystical knowledge, because do you know what I'm talking about?
yeah, I do. Yeah,
And it's just like, you guys, this is not hard.
It's like
And
they're
a lot of,
it's like they're talking a foreign language or something, isn't it?
yeah. And then you know what everyone in the chat asks? Will it run my fridge? Yes or no? If
Yeah, I know.
no,
Yeah.
shut up.
Well, see, I mean, yeah, I've had people actually ring me up and say,
Ringo.
I want to get a solar generator. Okay, let's start with this. What are you going to use it for?
Exactly.
We've got a chest freezer and we've got a fridge and we want to power it.
Yeah, okay.
Um,
How much money do you have?
so I wouldn't spend the money on a solar generator. What I would do is actually set up a mini battery bank and a mini sort of
Yeah,
solar setup,
yeah,
because if you're not intending to move, and clearly you can't move a chest freezer and a fridge at a moment's notice, and
right.
you're going to basically bug in, um, then I would do that instead of a solar generator, because otherwise what's going to happen is you're going to end up having to take the damn thing outside every 4 hours to recharge it again, because, and we're assuming there is no grid, by the way. So you need to recharge the solar generator. So, and you can only do that during the day. Um, so you've got to take the generator outside, connect it to a solar panel, leave it out there, let it charge, and then bring it back in and connect it back up to the fridge, which has already gone all your food stuffed.
Yeah. So,
So
yeah,
if you're going to spend 4 grand on a solar generator, because they're not cheap here in Australia, you're
right.
better off basically doing a mini battery bank and a solar a more permanent sort of solar panel, and you can do that actually, funnily enough, from a mob that sells parts for 4-wheel drive camping,
It's
and you
true.
can do it easily.
Yep.
And I
So,
worked it out that it was going to cost something like 2 grand, so 2 grand less than what the solar generator was going to cost, and that would happily run the fridge and the freezer for forever and a day.
yes, 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 but you're not going to explain to the newbies how to do that, or they're going to have meltdowns and piss themselves. So, the usually how I explain it in my books is if you can get an expandable solar generator, quote unquote, set that you really like, you put it on wheels, you can wheel it to the door, and then you run 40 footers, 40 footer cables out to your flippy floppy panels. And then if you have your battery bank, you can wheel it to whatever you need it to, and then have pass throughs through your wall, which I know
Mm.
I'm a hypocrite and I haven't set up yet. But that is how you do that, and then you can slowly expand it over and over and over again until you get it to the size you want it. The
Because funnily
newer,
enough, the first
yeah,
first time I was ever asked it, what was the first thing I did? I went to YouTube and asked, what do I need to do with solar and battery to power a fridge? And oh my God, out of the nearly 40 odd videos that were there, not one of them actually described it.
no,
They went
because they don't actually know.
they went all the way around the topic. Um, going into, well, first of all, you need to go to your fridge, the back of your fridge, and work out how many watts that is. And then you need to turn the fridge upside down because there's actually a panel on the bottom. See, we did this. And
Oh
I'm
my
thinking,
gosh,
who the
no,
hell's going to
don't.
turn your fridge upside down?
Nobody do that.
It's
You
like,
don't do that with AC units either. You will blow them up to smithereens and ruin them. You're right,
yeah,
Billy. And the reason why that is because A, those people are jacktards and have no idea what they're doing, and B, most of them are there to sell. I'm gonna try not to shit on the ones everybody has, but like Pecron. So like there are so many Pecron fanboys out there, and it's like, dude, people don't want Pecron. Like, get over it. Well, it's the best bang for your buck. That's fine. Oh, the oil will drain out. Kimberly, I don't think there's any oil in the refrigerator, but I think I get what you're saying. I think I know what you mean. The Freon
refrigerant.
or refrigerant. Yeah, not Freon. They don't use Freon anymore. Yeah, that is funny though. Yeah, you did make me crack up. But they're you'll see it'll in the Blue Eddy videos, and you'll see in the EcoFlow videos and the Goal Zero videos and the all of them, and then you'll see everybody arguing for their own
Excuse
battery.
me.
That's because they're all living vicariously through the purchases that they made, and they want their purchase to feel like the best purchase, and so they force their purchase on everybody else, or they just made their own and they're show offs. The fluids. That is funny. If you know what, if they do make fridges that run on fuel, like don't they have? God, we're really getting off. Propane. Don't they have propane fridges? I swear they do.
Yes, they've got multi. Oh, you can run them. I mean, even my. I mean, I've got two portable fridges. One's an Engel, one's a King's, but
Yeah,
the Engel virtually runs off 240 or 12 volt.
yeah,
But there are fridges that actually run off diesel. There's
yeah.
fridges that run off power. They've got a lot of dual sort of fueled fridges. So
There, I stand corrected. See, I can be wrong sometimes. I do not have that in my book. uh, that's, but yeah.
I'm
So
pretty
the
sure. I'm guessing they do, but I think I have seen them.
yeah,
Um,
I've definitely heard of them,
I think they call
and
them dual fuel or something like that.
yeah, they make generators like that too now. Um,
Yeah,
beet, carrot, banana, beet. I mean eggplant, carrot, cucumber. Okay, sir. Thank you.
kerosene fridge, gas powered fridge, four wheel
Heck yeah.
drive fridge,
Four-wheel
um,
drive fridge. What?
4-wheel drive fridge freezer, gas powered camping fridge. You
Four-wheel
name it.
drive.
Oh yeah.
Is that so it like follows you around the campsite?
No. You put it in the back of the 4-wheel drive.
Oh,
That's what I've got.
oh, you had me going there for a second. I was excited.
Yeah, no. They're not 4-wheel drive fridges.
Damn it. Got my hopes up for
you're,
nothing.
you're thinking too much drone here. It's
Actually, we
it's
have a
it's got
shop
to
vac
follow.
that's
It's a fridge with 4 wheels and it goes off road and it's got a follow me function.
I have a big shop vac that's like that. Rosemary is talking about um like dryers. Yeah. Um dryers make sense. Fridges. Yep. Um yeah, obviously they have like ranges, stoves, like they're trying to get rid of so much of that though. They want everything electrified. And so that's kind of the problem with a bunker too, is like, yeah, you could end up and everything runs on natural gas or something. Like, and then I guess like good luck. Like, I try to only cover the things in my book that like I actually know about.
Well, the
And we do have a
RVs
battery bank
are
on
all
wheels here.
basically, I think they're three powered fridges. They run off 240. They run off 12 volt because if the caravan's off grid, then they can run off power, off the
Mm-hmm.
batteries. But at worst case scenario, you can actually run them off the propane gas or the gas cylinders that you've got on the front of the caravan or RV or whatever you happen to be traveling in. So there's actually three-way fridges.
I actually understood Seraphim's joke that time. I think this is the first time I've understood one of Seraphim's jokes. So I'm very proud of myself. Yeah,
Yeah,
when we were looking for houses, um, one of the houses was like the whole house is plumbed for propane or something, and so we're like, okay, does that mean the house is not plumbed for electrical? Like, And then by the time they never even got back to us, the house just immediately sold. This was during the
Yeah,
Rona, and we're like, okay, well, fuck that then. Um, so that was our, and like my dad has like a stove that runs off propane, and the people that used to live here had a stove that ran off propane. Um, the problem is though, I'm sorry, hot take. If you're running everything off propane, you're not off grid.
no.
Sorry guys, you're not. Batteries and solar, you're off grid.
You want to look up caravans in Australia.
Yeah.
Those, I mean, for a start, they're the most luxurious things you've ever seen on four wheels.
Mm-hmm.
Technically five, I suppose, by the time you take into account the bull. Um, but they've got remote, like you put your foot down, put your phone down, and
Hey,
it starts charging immediately by the bed. So they've got one by each bed. I think they put them in cars these days.
is it charging off your
Um,
alternator? Is that what it
so
is?
you don't actually have to plug your phone in. You just plonk your phone down by the bed
Oh,
at
the
night,
induction.
yeah, it's like an induction charger. I suppose is
You
the
know,
best way
it
to put it.
blows my mind that it took them so long to do this, but I just saw a YouTube ad, which is embarrassing, where basically phone packs are actually just phone charger packs are actually just induction now. And I have no idea. Induction phone charging has been around for
Ever.
3 or 4 phone generations
Yeah.
mainstream. Like, I don't know why it took. Anyway, I just thought of that.
Well, caravans, I mean, I remember, and I think I mentioned this very quickly, but, and I'm just going to have to Google this again, but um,
Grok, is this true?
no. Okay, so here we go. On the 28th, we're going back in history. So just
Oh
imagine
boy.
that sort of fancy music, the harp music.
Brum, brum, brum.
Back in the 28th of September in 2016, um, South Australia actually lost power to everything. We
Mm-hmm.
actually lost the entire grid in South Australia. All right. So part of South Australia's power actually comes from New South Wales, and it's done
Oh,
by a series of towers that carries the transmission lines. And
yes.
unfortunately, we had a whopping great big storm go through, and apparently twin tornadoes that
Ooh,
blew the towers down. And
just like
so
my
we
game.
lost.
In my game, that happens.
Yes,
Ha ha ha.
exactly. Yes,
Ha ha
yes.
ha.
um, so pretty much the power went out across the state. There wasn't. Everyone was affected, all except for dear little old Damien, who happened to be at the time inside his caravan down at
Mm-hmm.
the Brighton Caravan Park in Adelaide.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my caravan, it had been blowing a gale for probably the last, this is right on the beach, by the way. So, it had been blowing a gale. The caravan was moving around. But I was quite happily inside my caravan watching a DVD, and I was actually cooking a meal. Um, so, it was all nice and warm and toasty, and dinner smelt awfully good. So, and I basically cooked my meal, had all the lights going, um, sat down, watched the end of the DVD, and then after which I pretty much thought, nah, I'm just going to go to bed. So I did, and woke up the next morning, turned all the lights off, turned all the stove off, did the dishes, hot water, etc., etc., and went to bed. And woke up the next morning to a knock on the door. And the guy who was actually looking after all the maintenance, so he did all the lawns and gardening and all that sort of stuff, knocked on my door and said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Except for the fact that someone's just knocked on my door, yeah, I'm fine." And he goes, "You do realise we all lost power last night. And I said, huh? When? And he goes, bloody caravanners. And he closed the door. And I had no idea what he was talking about. So, I mean, I was dressed, but, I got dressed more appropriately so I could walk outside. Went outside, and yeah, he told me that basically the state had lost the power. So, but from the caravan's point of view, as soon as it lost power, it automatically switched over to the batteries.
Mm-hmm. Because you're
So it,
plugged into some kind of a outlet at some kind of a diddly do,
yeah,
right?
I mean, I
Yeah.
was in a caravan park, so it was plugged into
Oh,
the
okay.
240.
Yeah.
But as soon as it lost that 240, basically the caravan automatically switched over to the batteries. And the batteries were running all the lighting system as well as the DVD player, which was all running off 12 volt. Now, the stove was running off gas, so, I could
Yep.
clearly do that, gas being propane, and the hot water was heated by propane. So, um, yeah, I had no idea the power had gone out. Nothing changed for me at all, not even for a millionth of a second. Um,
I would argue that actually puts you at a disadvantage. I mean, a lot of people would cockily say that they just think that that's hilarious, but in reality, like, I think you know now that in a shit it's the fan, that's actually really really bad, right?
to a certain extent, yeah, because if, like, technically that was a SHTF situation, and
Yeah,
and
a
for a
big
lot
one.
of people who had food in chest freezers, because I had to actually fly to Queensland a couple of days later, and one of the towns in South Australia, Port Lincoln, actually lost their power because of that incident for more than 3 weeks.
My goodness.
And he'd just knocked off two lambs and put them in his freezer,
Oh
and
no,
of
that
course
sucks.
they went rancid. Um,
That's really
and
that really
and
sucks.
a lot of people lost a lot of food out of their fridge. Retailers, businesses, um, commercial factories, and that sort of thing basically lost all their food. They had to ditch all of it. Um, so
Is
the
it the kind of
insurance
weather to
costs.
where they couldn't like just smoke everything like really 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 fast or
No,
barbecue everything
it
really
was
really?
too late. It happened on a Friday night, which probably, was it
Oh,
Friday?
so by morning you were screwed, or they were
Yeah,
screwed.
yeah. This happened overnight. So, um, yeah, it was too late basically, and of course with all the food rules and legislation and everything else, once something's unrefrigerated for a certain period of time, whether it be in a commercial fridge or domestic, it's technically no good anymore. You could eat it, but you'll be at a doctor's surgery or a hospital within a few days.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, overnight we would kind of be.
So, in regards to what you were sort of saying before, I sort of went off on that little bit of a rant.
Yeah.
Yes, because I had no idea. I honestly didn't know.
Yeah, and the only
Um,
way you would have is if you'd angled your trailer in some kind of way to where you could have seen light, I guess. And then you
the
would have seen that
problem
the light
is
was
that
out.
unfortunately, it's like a lot of situations. If you're like, for example, you're in your house, right? You know where all the lights are at night. In fact, you could probably get so damn used to it that after a while you don't even notice it.
Yeah, it has to be super, super quiet. But even then, we live out in the middle of nowhere, so
Yeah, it's
it
but
can
it's
be like if you shut the computers off, it's you hear your ears, you know.
well. See, I've often related it to Sydney Harbour, right? Everyone knows Sydney Harbour. Most people around the world do.
Yeah, it has that
But
funny bug shaped building, right?
well, think about the San Francisco or um, any one of the world's popular bays, right?
Yeah,
And
whenever
they
the
have the
UFOs attack, that's the one that
yeah,
they
they have
always
the
attack
they have
in
the
the.
fireworks over the Sydney Harbour Bridge on New Year's Eve, and
Yeah.
they've got the Sydney Harbour Opera House, and every house that basically sits on Sydney Harbour is worth millions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even a little two-bedroom shanty is probably worth 15 million or something like that. It's stupid money. Um, but I remember someone telling me this story. They went and visited friends in Sydney, and they happened to have a house on Sydney Harbour Bridge. And of course, the first thing they've done is gone out onto the balcony and just gone, "Oh my God, this view's incredible." And the people have gone, "What view?" "Oh, the one off the bow." "Yeah, it's not too bad." "Are you kidding me?" It's like,
Mm-hmm.
look at it, oh my God. And they've gone, and the people have come out onto the balcony, and they've gone, "What's that?" And they're pointing, "Oh my God, I've never seen that before." It's like people who've got the view of the Smoky Mountains or the Grand Canyon or something like that. After they've lived there for a certain period of time, sure, you get that initial, "Oh my God, I can't believe we live here." But then 2 years later, it's like, oh, oh yeah, I suppose there are mountains out there, aren't there?
I wouldn't know. It's too overcast here to see anything.
But you know what I mean. It
Yeah.
becomes, if the big
Yeah, the
things are
Puget Sound.
disappearing out of your
Yeah.
view after a certain period of time, I'd be concerned. Because if you're missing the big things, what about the little things?
Yeah, usually here what the dead giveaway besides everything being insanely silent is all of a sudden you can see the sky. That's why can I see the sky right now? Oh, because the city's gone. Like, I mean, the city's power is gone. That's like the dead. And you're like, well, that's not good.
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
it's only when something big happens,
Yeah,
that you suddenly go, oh, oh, okay.
yeah. And if you're on the beach, you can't hear anything. So like the power can be out, and if you're facing the wrong way, I guess yeah, that did happen to us. Like we were on the beach once, and or on a beach hotel, and yeah, we had gas and batteries and stuff. And yeah, you don't notice until you poke your head out the other way, and you're like, oh, the city shut down. Shit.
Well, I mean, that's the other thing with caravans is they've actually got three gas and one electric hot plate in the same unit.
Yeah.
So you've got the choice. You can either cook on electric or you can cook on gas. Your choice. So a lot of things in RVs tend to, because people do what we call free camping here in Australia, which is basically where they'll pull off into a campsite and they'll camp, um, and they don't pay for it, obviously. So, but none of these places have water or power or anything like that. What you
Mm-hmm.
bring is what you've got to live in, and obviously an RV, whether it be a little minivan with a bed and a kitchen, or whether it's a full-on bus, um, all have to carry everything that you need to live in. So they're pretty much set up for whatever situation. These days, a lot of them have solar panels. A lot of them have connections to Starlink. So if you ever want to put Starlink on the roof, they've already got connectors that you can actually go through the skin of the van to the inside. Most of them have wireless internet connections ready to go. Most of them have three-way fridges. So whether it be a Dometic fridge or a Waco, depending on what the brand uses, those are both three-way fridges. And when we say three-way, 12 volt, 240 or propane um, can power the fridge. Um, so and most of them have battery and solar setups. Most of them have, I think they're doing up to 3,000 watt inverters these days in caravans. Although some caravans do go bigger than that again. Um, some caravans have all 240 volt power points. Most of them these days have at least one or two 12-volt power points. Diesel generators are pretty much standard in most of the full off-road caravans. So you can actually heat and cool with your diesel, or sorry, heat with your diesel generator, and they take a fuel tank of about 5 litres, and that'll last around about, I think it's about 24 hours of continuous use on 5 litres of diesel, which is pretty damn impressive. Most of them have reverse cycle roof mounted air conditioners, and those things are getting more low profile as it goes. Most of them have 12-volt fans on the inside of them, that are already hooked up when you actually take your van out of the showroom, I suppose. Which is why a lot of them are reaching sort of $140,000 to $160,000. Like they're insanely teched out as well. LED strip lights have been standard in the damn things for years now. I bought a Nova Workabout, and that thing, I actually counted, there were 85 lights in it, in something that was 24 foot long inside. 85 lights. I couldn't understand why they put so many lights in the bloody thing. And it was like a bloody disco thing. You could change the colours of the lights. And they all came
it's
with
like a giant
dimmers.
computer.
Yeah. They're just insane. So, and these are in effectively caravans. Things that you hook up to the back of your truck and tow around the country. And that's what people do. They basically tow them to their Land Cruisers or these days they tow them to their Chevys or Toyotas or what have you, and they basically don't come home for 2 or 3 years. That is their house.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's good. They're still just, I don't know.
We call them everything from the grey nomads, which are the recently retired. They spend 350,000 on the van and the car, and they pack it all out, and then bugger off.
They bugger off. The problem here is, thanks to the homeless assholes, um, there's been a lot of legislation against that, and everyone blames the orange man. In fact, people that I otherwise often hold in moderately regard go, he's trying to make homelessness illegal. He's like, fuck off. No, he's not. Like, come to Portland or Seattle sometime, and you'll want to get out a flamethrower. Like, you get so sick of it. And so those caravans, their RVs, they just, in my book, by the way, they in my PNW Affliction book, those derelict RVs are very, very, very. I call it a beaching. They beach them, and if you don't run them back out, more of them will start beaching them there, and then they just start leaking fluids at mobile meth labs.
They can't blame it on the orange man. I mean, it's been around since Lethal Weapon, where Mel Gibson had a bloody caravan on the beach. It's.
Yeah.
I mean, that was back in the 80s.
Well, they steal them, and so there's no documentation. They cost a fortune to. They do the same thing with boats here too, and it's just everyone thinks it's like, oh well, they're being so clever. Why are you mad at them for bucking the system? It's like, no, the rest of us are fucking paying, and yeah, they found a way to not pay. Meanwhile, they're polluting the living cow balls off of everything. It's like, I don't care. Go do that in Mexico or something. Like, stop fucking up our country. Stop finding a dead end road and then just dumping your trash out. Like, when I see people go up and down a road, I'm like, oh, there goes more fucking garbage that they're dumping at the end of our road.
And then you can't really blame it on Trump, because, I mean, how many videos have we seen of the British, where the guys are running around with tractors and spraying bloody effluent out the back to get rid of all the people who've suddenly, you know, started camping on their farms, uninvited. So you know,
Yeah, the manure
it's
launchers.
yeah, you can't just blame it on. You've got to sort of blame it on successive governments and not just in one particular country either. Um,
I mean, it's because we can't just throw people into a wood chipper or turn them into some kind of meat slurpee to feed the rest of them until they all knock their shit off. I mean, our society has gotten it's gotten so far, and it's not even importing the third world because there's just a lot of crack and meth and stuff here too, and we've turned into just an absolute shithole society, um, and
it's
that's
a
the
very
reality.
me orientated society. It's all about me.
Yeah, and they don't want to
Um,
work anymore, and they think it's
no,
hilarious. Like there's interviews of them as they absolutely destroy our natural areas with their poison and their drugs and their needles. This is all in my books too, by the way. This this is exactly what PNW Affliction's about. Like they go move into a forest somewhere, and by the way, they've been talking about clear cutting our forests to turn them into homeless camps for years because everyone thinks that's hilarious. It's like, no, I'm sorry, I don't want my natural space turned into a fucking homeless camp.
yeah,
And
because just jumping into P&W afflictions,
yeah,
because obviously they're not prepping books like Bunker Basic or
they're
homesteading
not.
books like
No.
Bunker Basics or Bunker Buddies. And just to give everyone an idea, the idea is that Bunker Basics is if a single person walks into a bunker. Um, Bunker Buddies is if two people walk into a bunker, pretty much. Correct?
Yep.
So P&W Afflictions, however, is as much as it they basically have the whole prepping thing in mind, it is actually more interwoven into a story. So the whole idea of, you know, a guy wakes up, um, you know, because the cat's playing with a plastic bag, and then goes down to the service station or gas station, and then shit hits the fan, and then he spends the rest of the night trying to get home again. Um, you know, so it is sort of interweaving the whole prepping and what you carry, and you know, the things that you need to collect to actually survive. But they're interwoven into a story, basically. Is that correct? Or
Yeah, it's very much I before just blatantly writing it all out in bunker codes, which turned into bunker basics. I kind of snuck it all into P&W Affliction. So someday, if you ever read the whole series, you'll be like,
which I
"Oh,
haven't bothered.
yeah." You'll be like, "Oh, I basically just read bunker basics in just a way bunker
Longer version.
codes in like a way longer story based format because you're like, oh, there's the teeth stuff that he was talking about, you know, like, oh, there's the this he was talking about, there's the that he was talking about, there's the battery stuff or whatever. Like you'll see that it's one of them's like a long form fictional narrative. Yeah,
Hmm.
the other one cuts to the chase.
Because obviously, bunker basics. You know, do you? And like I said, I have read it. I do need to read it again. So I'm probably going to ask dumb questions, but I'm asking
No, it's
because,
fine. It's totally
you know,
fine.
hopefully somebody who is thinking of buying the book
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
may buy it. So obviously the other prepping books tell you how to light fires. Do you do the basic stuff, or do you actually just improve on the basic stuff?
Nope, I completely skip all the basic stuff because I it's been done to death so bad.
Mm.
Like I think I make some snide comments about a Dakota fire pit because I get so sick and tired of people saying just build a Dakota fire pit. Oh, it makes me so mad. So, no, there's no how to build it. There's no how to do a bow drill. There's no like is that stuff cool? Yeah, But that's bushcraft bullshit. I call that like bush jacking off, basically. Like, good job. You can bow. I don't care. Go bow drill something then. Go jack off with your little bow drill over there. Like, that shit is so annoying.
You're just going to pull out your Ryobi drill and charge it up on the solar battery system.
You know the funny God, the funny thing is like, if I was really 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 bored, I can't think of which tool off the top of my head, but there's people that have 100% made basically a bow drill out of a power drill because it is exactly the same function, but instead of a bow, you're just spinning the stick on a drill and you still need to cut out the notch to get the ember to drop the ember into the little nest you've
I have
made.
seen that.
It's just like big deal. Like that shit gets so old. Like survival, and this is like the meat of what I want. When the guy said that on the Nick on the chat the other night, I'm like, this is the topic I want to talk about for hours. Like, all the survival bullshit out there, nobody cares. The bushcraft bullshit, nobody cares. It's a fantasy. And he's like, oh, I disagree. Dude, I don't give a shit. Go ahead and disagree. But here's the thing. And I brought it up and there was no time. It's like, okay, so you're a survivalist. How are you going to go back and plow the fields when the horse doesn't want to? He's like, you're going to train it. I'm like, no, you're not. I can't get that horse to even look at, like, the horse was over talking to the cow earlier. I don't know what they
you
were talking
you
about,
may
but
as
they were,
well be asking the difference between a racehorse that's designed to basically run around in circles
yeah, or a
and
donkey or something.
and one of the what's the old beer mob that used to do the horse and carriage thing?
Clydesdales?
Yeah, Clydesdales, yeah. So you may as well ask the difference between a racehorse and a Clydesdale.
Yeah, or a donkey.
Yeah.
It's I when he said that there was a bunch of different things where like my respecto meter kind of went down a teeny tiny bit over a couple, like, good enough guy, right?
Because a racehorse will never be
But
a Clydesdale. Like, I don't care how much you train
no,
them. They're
no,
not.
the
It's not
horse will
going to
just
happen.
lay down and not move. I
Yeah.
I know this horse. She's gonna be like, nope, lay down, kick you, kick you if you get close to her. No, I'm good. Feed me now. I'm good. That horse isn't pulling anything. That horse will be on the other side of the whole damn farm. Getting a saddle on that thing is like, have you I don't know how much like you do animal husbandry and stuff. Have you ever seen somebody try to get a saddle on a horse that is like, no?
Yes.
They can easily kill you on accident.
Oh, they will knock you into seventh heaven in about a heartbeat.
Yeah, they don't even have to they don't even have to be particularly upset at you.
No,
They can just move slightly and you're dead.
they're a big
They have to
animal.
hold perfectly still or they will knock you into the dark ages.
Yeah, yeah. I've seen. I mean, God, how many TV shows are there with cowboys and trying to rage in a new Brumby? I mean, that can take weeks of work to basically get it from a Brumby to something that even comes close to being able to put a saddle on.
Yeah, that you got it on
And
once.
you need the
Okay.
experience to be able to do that. You can't just go in there for the first time and start it.
Yeah.
If you're not used to it, then stay out. Just stay
Many
away from the thing.
actors, many actors have been like killed or completely paralyzed
Hmm.
from horse, not even horse stunts, just horse. Killed by,
Yeah.
like, the Oregon Trail, killed by horse. They don't
Oh,
even have to try to kill you. It's just they are an absolute. So when he said that, I unfortunately there was a couple things he said. I go into them on my podcast, but a couple things he said I lost some respect for him and just train the horse. I'm like, all right, I'm good.
Well,
Thanks for
here's one for you, because I have heard you on a few podcasts now,
Oh, thank you.
talking a bit about the books.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
one of the things you do mention is that you have spent a bit of time demystifying a lot of
Yeah. Debunkering.
commonly held thoughts in terms of certain prepping. And I mean, I suppose the obvious one is obviously pull shock to clean the water, and everyone
Oh
knows that
yeah,
you don't
I
use that.
I
But
break that down scientifically in the next one. Yeah.
is there any other is there any other ones that sort of come to mind?
Oh, the biggest one was there's a lot of YouTube and prepper websites that have hooking up battery, like you know how you're talking about like actual batteries and actual solar panels,
Yep.
that just completely say how to hook that up wrong, um, or how to like plug in your car battery wrong is another one. How to charge, how to jump your battery wrong. Um, I'm so sorry, Rosemary. They are savages with machetes. That's why they run around like savages with machetes. And yeah, they eat everything here too. They'll shoot and kill horses. They'll shoot and kill dogs and cats. They're absolutely feral
Oh, they do koalas in
psychopaths.
Australia.
Yeah, it's that yeah, the UK is just yeah, yep. So for the record, we all hear 100%. Yeah, it's a good thing there's not a button that would just make them all disappear because I'd be hitting it about every 5 seconds. That's all I'm sure. Billy Jack says, if you really want some legit, ready.gov. God, yeah, really quick, and then I'll get back to what Griffin was talking about. Every time the shit pops off here, they push out a little bit how much everyone's supposed to be ready for. I think Cameron was FEMA's. So, the storms that hit us the other day, they're like, yeah, everyone needs about 2 weeks worth of food, and that was like about a 2 week long storm. And I'm like, wow, that was pretty accurate actually. Um, Lingo, but yeah, debunking the batteries was a big deal because you can't just hook an inverter to a battery and be like, all right, here we go. Um, you can hook an inverter into like your DC of your car, but that's because your car's already got an inverter on it, right? And so there's things like that. Or one of the ones that a lot of people screw up, and I screw up too, is like plugging your solar in with your solar already unfolded. I do that all the time, and I kick myself. Like you can get an arc flash and set your freaking field on fire. Um, Leaving your trying to use your radio without the antenna plugged in um, is a no. It's not catastrophic, but it's still a no. So there's um,
Well, actually, yeah,
yeah,
because there's a couple of things there. I mean, if you look
yeah.
at the prepping,
Ringo.
there's negatives to say fire. So do you get into things like blankets, extinguishers, etc., or not really?
Oh, you know what? I don't know how much I talk about fire blankets. I think they come up a little bit, but there is a whole section of which fire extinguisher puts out which fire, and then a whole section on lithium fires, since no doubt there's going to be tons of half-dead lithium batteries in everyone's bunkers,
Well, especially the
especially now.
e-bikes and
Yeah, there's a whole
obviously
section on
everything is lithium these days. So even your Ryobi batteries are lithium. Your phone,
yeah.
your Apple Watch, and God knows what else.
Yeah, all of our first gen lithium stuff is toast. I plug in something and I hear it whistling, and I'm like, gosh darn it. A whistling lithium batteries is one notch away from it turning into a ballooning lithium battery, which is one notch away from it turning into
I'm
a
sorry, but if I heard a
thermite.
whistling battery, the first thing I would do is turn the bloody power off. Batteries
Nah,
aren't meant to whistle.
I know, but that's because once batteries hit absolute zero, it's really bad.
But see, a lot of
You're
people
never
wouldn't
supposed
know
to let
that.
those. Yeah, and that's all in the book.
Yeah.
But if it's not, here's the thing, and this is why I need people to keep me honest, and this is why I don't really have a lot of shame about trying to sell, the spring edition, is because if I could just get enough people to like legitimately read this and legitimately call me on this shit, if I'm not right, then that helps everybody else. But everybody just going, the book is good, that doesn't help me. It doesn't help me. And people have been
It's
saying
probably
the book is
because a lot of
good.
us just aren't experts at it.
Yeah.
We read, we buy. I think a lot of people, it's books are books are different these days. We
Yeah.
expect a lot out of them.
Totally.
Because number one, they're not cheap to buy,
Oh,
compared to everything else. And so, we expect to either be entertained heavily out of it. Um, I mean, me personally, I
yeah.
buy a book and I'll read it, for the rest of my life. It just doesn't leave my library. And I'll read it
Mm-hmm.
over and over and over and over again. Um, so, it's kind of, but we're also buying it to learn things as well. And I think a lot of people that would buy the book would read it and go, okay, I know that now. I can move on. Like
Yeah,
I didn't know it
golly.
before, but I do know it now. And so they're not sort of in the position where they can come back and go, oh, you were actually wrong with that. If you rewrite it like this, then you're good to go. Um, and I think that's probably why. I don't
It
know,
is,
maybe I'm
yeah.
wrong.
No, no, and that's the difference between me and all these jackoffs with their survive anywhere bullshit books. That the biggest difference is they all have publishers, they all have paid subject matter experts,
Well, the
and
other
then they
thing is they've
slap
copied everyone
someone's name.
else.
They have, yeah, well, and they go somewhere and Oingo Boingo, the indigenous didgeridoo, tells them how to do all that shit. Like the behind the scenes of how Bear Grylls and how Les Shroud did their shit, because those were the two pioneers. Everything is leaked of how they did their fucking shows. Like, also, yes, as soon as if you guys find a shipping container of AK-47s, please let me know. Um, I am looking for one as well, just in case. If there's any loot drops here, in case the Russians leave any around, let me know. Um, but like they sat in hotels. They had there's services that do this. There's another YouTuber. She at least disclosed it, where you go, you pay a service. Somebody teaches you how to survive on the island for 3 days. So as a YouTuber, you can go record yourself surviving on the island for 3 days, and then they come pick you up.
Yeah.
These are paid services. And Les Shroud has done a whole behind the scenes thing where he explained he didn't catch all that food. Like they kind of winged it, Like Man versus Wild Bear Grylls was just
It's called it,
completely fake.
it's called editing.
I don't know what you I don't even know if it was that clever of editing because like there is like there's the literally you can just see the hotel. Or the one time it's like he threw himself in
Yeah,
the
well, it's
ice
like
and then all this.
Survivor, that program called Survivor, where
Yeah.
they're all living in poverty and all the rest of it, and the crew is staying in the 5-star hotel that's 600 meters down the road.
Or the yacht that you can literally see in some of the shots.
Yeah.
Or there's a Naked and Afraid, and which is a lot
Well,
more.
Survival Lily did Naked and Afraid.
Yeah, yep, she did,
and
and
and she actually did a
Melissa
video
Backwoods did too.
about it. But I mean, half these books, that are pretty much probably on the market at the moment, are basically
Oh,
stealing information out of the previous books that were written and just reproducing it in a slightly different way.
yep.
So it's
Which
technically
is
the
exactly what
same.
I'm. Which is
It's
exactly
the
what I'm
same
doing.
information, repetitive over
Yeah.
and over and over. Whereas,
The difference
so
with mine is I actually go out and try it, and the shitty thing
yeah,
is a lot of it doesn't work, and that's why I need other people to call me on my bullshit, just in case me trying it was a fluke.
you might find that
Right.
unfortunately you won't get the feedback that you're after until after shit hits the fan. By which case, too bad, too sad. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and they're going to find out. And maybe they should have tried it beforehand. And that's one of the biggest
Yeah.
sort of things that we often say. You can store all this gear. You can have the greatest bug out bag you've ever had. You can have all the plans in place. But my God, if you don't go out there and actually bloody use it and test it, good luck.
Well, one of the biggest things, and I was talking about exo whatever plas blah 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 earlier, cat brainworms, toxoplasmosis. But like the biggest one is botulism, right? Rabies is also batshit insane. There's like really really bad stuff out there.
Yeah.
Botulism paralyzes you, and then you just die paralyzed. Like, and rabies can cross your brain barrier, and you turn into like
A zombie.
rabies is very bad too, and it hits your brain so fast, your brain can't. If you can somehow, which is extremely rare, fight rabies enough, you can actually develop the antibodies for rabies, which is if they catch rabies enough to give you a shot, that's what you're doing. Is they're giving you the rabies antibodies because it attacks your brain so fast, usually like 99% of the time or something. So like my book has all that stuff. You're not finding that shit in any other book.
No.
It just doesn't exist. And so if you're sitting there, here's my thought. Here's my thought with the book.
You'd
I
basically
imagine,
have to buy 300 or 400 different books to get what you've actually got in your one book.
yeah, because I was so scared. Because imagine, and this is the same thing with my fucking potatoes earlier. Imagine you're sitting in a bunker, and then all of a sudden, this little, brain, the paper clip pops up and goes, "Remember botulism?" And you're staring at all this food, and you're like, "Shut up! Don't eat that. Remember botulism?" And you're like, "I hate you, brain." And then you sit there in analysis paralysis, and you've just got no way of knowing what because the internet's not exist because you can't go. Well, maybe botulism isn't that big. Maybe I can cook botulism out. And it's the same thing with toxoplasmosis. Like
I've got
maybe I can.
antibiotics. I'll be fine.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah. I'll just keep. I've got my Jace case right here. Jace case will tell me what. It'll have rabies antibodies in it. Nah. And there's so many. I mean, not even talking about like the Black Plague. Like preppers don't talk about this shit because it's not cool, or like how to put out a lithium fire. They don't talk
You
about this stuff
bury it.
because it just get them clicks. Yeah, bury it in dirt and hope. Put some concrete above it and hope it doesn't get into any roots.
Yeah, well, that's the. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's like, yeah, watch it burn underwater and then realize you don't know what you're doing. And so it's or grease fires. Actually, I don't know if I cover grease fires, and I think I do. I think I cover grease fires with the rest of the fires. But like, how many people do you think know how to put out a grease fire? Like, not many, unless you've worked in a kitchen. You don't know how to put out a grease fire or a
Well, you don't
barbecue.
throw water in it. That's what I know.
Baking
You're better
soda.
off starving it of oxygen.
Yeah, if you have baking soda, like the baking soda will put it out, because baking soda is basically what a fire extinguisher is.
Yep.
So I just every single fear, just like P&W affliction, every single fear, I just put in there, and then I put in there how to deal with it.
Mm.
Same thing with like canning and jarring food properly. People act like that's so damn easy, but it's because they've
It's
jarred one
not.
thing their whole life. You can fuck it up so easily. You can't jar and can every single thing. That's the whole thing with botulism, is like it has to, if it either has to have enough acid or enough sugar, and there's a bunch of fruits and vegetables that are all pH neutral, and canning and jarring them just doesn't do anything, which is why all the
Mm.
canned food has like so much salt in it. It has to. Won't kill the bugs.
Otherwise, otherwise people die.
Yeah, everyone would die.
Mm.
So that's why I'm taking my time with the summer edition, because the spring edition was everything I learned and proved out during the spring, and the summer edition is going to be everything I learned. Yeah, I don't know, Seraphim. Don't put your mouth on it. Um, so, yeah, the summer stuff's going to be what I learned over the summer.
Mm.
And that's usually why there's a fall edition, because the fall edition's like what I learned, you
In
know,
the fall.
going into the fall, right? But there's no summer edition, or there's no winter edition, because you can't do shit in the winter. And so, but
Well,
no, but that's true. And so the winter, everyone jokes. It's like, oh, you spend the whole winter wishing you could do shit and you can't. And so you plan the spring. That's why there's no winter edition book.
well, there probably should be. I mean, you do get storms and winter and snow and things like that. Making sure,
Yeah,
that
the wood
there's not too much
stoves.
snow on the roof, because otherwise your roof collapses.
Yeah, I
Um,
don't know if I have my magic roof wand. I'm gonna go make a note. I have a magic roof wand. And
well, I
did I tell
suppose
you
what
that?
are we?
Everyone made fun of
Autumn.
me.
Autumn is basically preparing for winter.
Yeah, you have to have all your woods. You have to have all your wood split and everything.
Yeah.
People's no shit here. We're gathering and splitting wood all fucking winter and spraying into the summer, like truck after truck. Like some of these people, I swear, they just never. They finally stopped, but they'll in the fall they will split wood all the way through the fall, winter, and spring of every year. They just don't stop.
No.
Pickup truck
Yeah.
after pickup truck after pickup truck after pickup truck.
Well, it's like I was saying earlier on my channel. Wood stoves are great. Don't get me wrong, but you're going to spend most of your life collecting and chopping wood.
Well, yeah, and you're not really off the grid. Like a wood stove is not off the grid, because unless your acreage has
Includes a
60
shit ton
acres
of
of
trees.
yeah,
Yeah, look,
and
even
you have to
even
weed
me,
it down.
I go out bush. As you know, most weekends. I mean, that
Yeah.
hasn't it didn't happen last weekend. It probably won't happen for the next few weeks, because of my knee. But the sheer amount of bloody wood you go through is phenomenal.
Yeah, if you have to keep a wood stove going 24 hours a day, you
Oh
go
my
through like
God.
a cord every
But see, a
maybe
lot of people
cord a
don't know what a
week.
cord is. Like,
Well, they're retarded.
I'm going to say even a even a even a 60-foot by 30-foot shed probably wouldn't get you through a winter. I mean, it's
Yeah.
almost to that point. Um,
Not if it's total
if
grid down, because you're
Yeah,
stoking that stove 24 hours a day.
and especially if you live in a snow environment and you've got
Oh yeah, like
blizzards and
Idaho,
shit
Idaho,
like that out.
Montana is brutal. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can't get out of you can't get out of your house to get wood. Like
No. So how do you do that?
I don't
It's
know,
like
drilling
I don't know.
cords.
As much as I have said, the idea of it, and it sort of comes. Do you explain the difference between bugging in and bugging out? I suppose that's the next thing.
No, because bugging out's for retards.
Yeah.
Like It's
Mm.
that's why the whole point is you find a bunker, because the whole point is that you already had to bug out, and you already showed up to a bunker with basically
And
nothing,
therefore you're bugging in. Yeah, you
and
were
therefore you're
bugging in, then
bugging
you
in.
bugged out, and then you're bugging in again.
Yeah, it's
Um,
basically you leave the office and someone gives you keys and say go to this location and you do it.
yeah, because I mean, honestly, anybody, because I remember this during COVID, and it used to come up so much, and especially in South Australia, most people said, "Oh no, we're just going to the Flinders Ranges," and I said, "What? You along with the 60 odd thousand other people that are going to be going there?" "Oh, I don't know, but I know this spot." "Okay, how often do you go there?" "Oh, once a year. We spend 2 weeks up there. It's so cool." "So who's on that spot for the rest of the year?" "I don't know."
Well, it's
Like,
like the deer here. We had our deer problem that you remember, our deer problem.
yeah,
Since that deer problem happened, we have seen exactly, I think, one deer on our
yeah,
property, and usually there's an overwhelming number, and it's just they kept getting schwacked like by cars everywhere,
yeah,
and so these ding dongs thinking they're gonna come out here to hunt deer. Everyone thinks it's so funny. Just all these people have so many snarky one-liners. It's fucking infuriating. It's like, no, if the cars here are keeping the deer population down, there aren't enough deer. I'm sorry. I just stop being retarded. It's so stupid.
but so the other thing is that, most people will only ever go camping in perfect weather. Like, that sort of summer, sort of fall, I suppose you guys call it. We call it autumn.
Yeah.
When the weather it's not too cold, it's not too hot. That's when most people go camping. Okay, so have you
Yeah.
been there in stinking hot weather? No. Have you been in there in freezing cold weather,
Or the
where
bugs. Yeah.
the wind
So
is,
hot and
the
bugs.
rain is horizontal, and the wind is blowing a gale? No. Why
Yeah.
would we go there? Okay, so why are you going to bug out there? Why do you think you're going to live out there?
Yeah. Unless there's a cave, right? Like,
But even a cave, like, you'd have to brick it all down and to the point of view, because wind just gets everywhere. I mean, it's just, and
true.
it destroys everything. Eventually, it'll destroy everything. Wind,
Well, and it
just
could be
wind.
a cave that's north facing or a cave that's south facing, depending on what side of the equator you're on. That cave is either going to boil, you're going to boil alive, or it's going to be freezing.
Yeah. And God help anything else that lives in the cave at the same time as you want to live in it.
Lots of spiders. Yeah, the wife
Bears,
found a
mountain
translucent giant brown spider the other day.
snakes.
There's snakes, yeah. Yeah, and it's not like hanging the snakes up or putting the snakes on little forks or something is gonna like dissuade the other snakes. They're gonna like, what is that? And they go right around it.
They don't give a shit.
They don't give it. Oh, you killed
Oh
Carl?
look, oh look, Sneaky died.
Yeah. Oh no,
Oh, poor
Franklin number
Sneaky.
12.
Oh, there's a critter I can eat.
Oh, I can bite that guy's toe.
It's survival of the fittest, honestly. And if they died, well, shit happens. More for me.
Yeah, that's
So,
that's exactly it. Oh, an egg. I'm gonna shove that whole egg in my mouth. Oh, I can't get away. Oh, he's got me by the tail. I better poop on him. Oh, it didn't work. No, I'm not letting this egg go. And then he looking at you with the side eyes. Uh-uh.
oh, you see, well, see, that's the other thing. You see these people commenting on videos of big snakes and spiders in Australia. And all these people, oh,
Yeah.
I wouldn't bloody, burn the house. That's probably the most popular one.
Yeah.
um, and all this sort of stuff. And it's like, and yet you see them on other forums and they're going, "Oh yeah, I'd bug out bush. I've got my bug out bag. I'll be fine." It's like, what? What?
Yeah.
And you suddenly realise that, oh, okay, you're just on this forum to
You're
pretend
just
that that's what
retarded.
you're going to do.
Yeah, I got my
Oh,
Garmin
okay.
watch. Oh, how the fuck are you gonna charge that after 3 days? Um,
Oh. Yeah, I
yeah.
bought one of those smartwatches at one stage because
Mm.
it was a tactical watch.
Ooh, cool.
So it gave the moon phases and it had a compass
Oh, fun.
and it was solar powered. So, it was just needed to leave it out in the sun for a couple of hours and it was fully charged again. So you never had to actually plug it in.
And then
And
a
I thought,
snake
well,
ate it.
that'd be cool. And you could actually drop GPS coordinates
Yeah,
on certain things.
yeah,
So, and I thought, well, that'd be cool. So I bought it for about $700 odd,
yeah,
um,
yeah.
because that's what these
They have
smartwatches
software
cost.
applications and stuff too. But yeah,
And after 2 years, it would never charge again. It was dead after 2 years.
because they've got a tiny, 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 tiny lithium-ion battery in them.
Yeah, and I charged it too much.
Yeah,
Um,
because how many years ago was that? Was that more than 5 or 6 years?
it was a Garmin Tactical,
Yeah, I
and
know what watch that is. How long ago was it?
would have been probably around about 5 years ago.
Yeah, you know why it died? Because phones and watches back then did not have safe charging. And so like my phone now, because my last phone was down to about 60%. This phone will only let me charge it to 100% like once a week.
Right.
And I don't know what happens if it dies because I haven't killed it yet. But that's that's why charging these lithium, if the lithium ions truly let you charge them to 100%, you're fucking killing that battery every single time you do it. But
Yeah.
you wouldn't be able to do that manually. They need to program the software to do it. Cars and scooters are the same way, and phones and vape pens, and yes, all that's in my book.
Yeah.
Because it's that in my opinion, dude, people were putting vape pens in their mouths and just blowing their faces off. That was real. That really happened. And the Samsung Galaxies were on planes and
Yeah, they were burning all the time, weren't
they
they?
were burning everything, burning people's legs and
There was actually one in
people's thighs were getting burned.
what there was another one, something. I think it was a battery bank that somebody had in an overhead.
Oh, the
Uh,
battle boxes, the battleborns are doing that.
yeah, and they had it in an overhead storage container in a plane, and this was only on last night's news. I don't know where it was, and apparently the stewards put it out because this plane was coming into land,
Yeah, so that's
and they
why
had to
they
turn
only let
around
you.
and
That's
then
why they
land
only
again with
let
the
you.
fire engines and everything else. So but by the time they
Yeah,
landed, the guys had put the fire out. But
yeah. I
um,
think they keep a special fire extinguisher, and that's also why your batteries have to be very, very small on planes.
yeah,
So if the battery is too big, they would just have no way of putting it out.
well, this was one of those. It's about the size of a calculator, and it can charge
Yeah,
up your phone and all
like a
that sort
10
of stuff.
milliamp hour probably.
Oh, they're getting up to 30. What was the one I saw on the TV last night? 50,000.
No, they wouldn't. They would not let you bring a 50,000 milliamp hour on a plane. Not in carry on. Um,
There's a
at
mob
least here they stop.
advertising these magnetic chargers that latch onto
Yeah,
the back of your phone and
that's what I
charge,
was
similar
talking
to where we
about
started
earlier.
this whole conversation.
Yeah,
Um, and they're about 50,000 milliamp.
those are absolutely not actually 50,000 milliamp hours. Um, I did a whole thing about that in my book too. It is an extremely common scam. Um,
Yeah,
for them to they do this with USB sticks too, which I don't know if that's in my book or not, but China will say that they're 40 or even 50 or even 60,000 milliamp hour batteries. They're all 10K milliamp hour batteries, all of them. The batteries either won't charge or they're just literally fake. I've got into it with
how do they get
preppers
away with it?
because they're trying to copy keyboard. I call them keyboard mashing companies. And the problem is YouTubers that should know better. A YouTuber that I hold, or a prepper author on Twitter that I hold in really, 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 really high regard was shilling these fake China copy batteries. And what'll happen is on Amazon Day, Amazon will sell them for like half price or quarter price, which is financially impossible, by the way, because if it was true, they would be losing like 70% on every battery. That's how
Well,
you
that's
know. They're selling them
nobody.
at cost for the amount of batteries that are actually in it, which is how they get away with that. And how you can know that, and this, I'm pretty sure this is also in my book, is if you can only charge your phone up one time with one of these fucking batteries, that's like a 3 to maybe 5K milliamp hour battery.
Yeah.
And that's what
Well,
happens with these.
yeah, because they're advertising these 50,000 milliamp batteries and saying you can charge your phone twice.
Yeah, so that's about a 10K milliamp hour battery.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
And then they're charging like $1,000 for each one.
Yeah, no, that's they're making like 9,000% profit or something off
Yeah,
those.
it's
And they
just
get
a
all these
complete.
retarded YouTubers to sell them. Like all
Well,
these big
stupidly
beauty
enough, you can
YouTubers.
always tell how well mainstream is actually doing when you're watching the nightly news, and every ad is either one of those ads. I think that
YouTube's the
that
same way.
played because it was always between the hours of 6 and 7.
Mm-hmm.
Advertising on TV is worth an absolute fortune, because that's
Mm-hmm.
when most people sit down to watch the news or whatever after work. These days, all you're seeing is basically these companies, and we'll throw in a set of steak knives. Here's a great mattress topper. Oh, you'll sleep the best night you've ever slept in your life, and all this sort of crap.
Yeah.
There's no actual real advertising on TV anymore.
Yeah, it's all Chinese junk. So
Yeah,
the very, very, very top one, um, and of course these are sponsored, and sponsored is actually just secret code for they paid extra money to have it on top.
yeah.
This is portable charger power bank. These aren't the induction ones, but it says 40,000 milliamp hour, blah 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 blah, for $30. So that's if this actually had, and of course there's no name, brand Landluck, which is just gibberish bullshit. So if this was real, they would be losing 25% on the sale of each one of these. So if you're ever on Amazon, I actually wrote a Substack about this too. If you're on Amazon, you go down somewhere. Is it called Rufus? What the hell is their AI called? Somewhere in here, Rufus. Okay, here it is. My friend had a dog named Rufus, and he'd always go Rufus. Okay,
It sounds like a dog.
yeah, that's weird. It says ask Alexa or search reviews. I wonder if they got rid of Rufus. But anyway, is this really 40K MAH? And it's hilarious, right? This actually just searches the reviews. It doesn't really know any better. And it says, yes, the Landluck portable charger is listed. I said, is it really 40K MAH? And it says, yes, it's listed. I didn't ask if it was listed. I said what it really was. And check this out. It goes, a few things worth noting from customer reviews. Capacity is real, but results vary. Some customers report getting 8 to 9 full phone charges, while others say it performs below expectations. They also say it's not pocket sized. Oh, yes, note it can't be carried on flights. It also says the charging speed is mixed. So it says the 40K mAh claim appears accurate per the specs, but real world performance can vary.
Yeah, so they're lying out of
Is
their
this
teeth,
really
aren't they?
40K mAh? Yeah, not what it's listed. It's lying. What is the real capacity? That's fair skepticism. Here's the honest breakdown. What the listing claims. What physics says. Power banks like this are rated in watt hours, blah, 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 blah. And then it tells me mathematically what it should be. But then it says what customers actually report. And it says some get 8 to 9 phone charges, which for a 4,000 mAh phone, that's what I said, was what I was telling you earlier, 32,000 to 36,000. So that's already a 20. Fuck, I'm so bad at percentages.
Yeah.
So instead of 40K, it's saying it could be as low as 32. So that's already 10K mAh less. One reviewer noted it charged an iPhone 17 about 1.5 times. That I believe, because that's about a 10K mAh battery. Charging an iPhone 17 about a time and a half. Yeah. So it says, bottom line, the 40K mAh figure isn't technically a lie, M dash. It's the raw cell capacity at battery voltage, M dash. But it's misleading because real world usable output is significantly lower. This is a widespread industry practice not unique to this product. If accurate real world capacity matters to you, I can suggest power banks from more reputable brands that are transparent about the actual output.
So in other words,
And
because
this,
everyone else lies, I'm allowed to lie as well.
yes, and they do this on lumens, which is also in my book. And they do this on everything. So you asked, how can they lie? This is how they can lie. Amazon literally allows them to lie, and the air people, the air people are very savvy to this, and they just will not allow these fucking things on planes. It's just
Yeah.
not worth it. It is how you die. This is
Not
how
when they
you all
just catch
die.
fire in an overhead bloody bin while the plane's
Yeah,
landing. I mean, that's flat
and
out
then molten
dangerous.
slag. Yeah, molten slag on your head. Like
Yeah.
you're dead. You're dead at that point. And this is the number one sponsored 1,000 5-star fucking bullshit reviews. I can do this to any one of them. It doesn't matter. Here, this one, 83,000. But here's the thing, that's a 10,000 milliamp hour battery, and it's $20. That one's actually priced at the correct. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
That one's actually priced correctly. So that one's probably fine. And it's actually roughly the right, it's a little small, but it's roughly the right size. I would
The whole
bet
the
that's
whole
about
lumens
about
thing is just a jip. I mean,
100%. Yeah.
I've talked about this, and in fact we've talked about this. Is everyone rushes out and gets the brightest torch they can get, and it's like one of the biggest things in prepping that I think a lot of people don't really sort of talk about is light pollution. Like we
Yeah.
worry about having the power on when everyone else has got the power off, but that's while we're at home. Out bush, it's worse.
Yeah, I have light pollution in my book. The other flashlights are just are every other problem that I just talked about, because they also have lithium ion batteries. They also get crazy fucking hot. Burn your hand
Yeah,
hot. And if they're in plastic housing, get fucked, because
yeah. No, I won't buy a torch with a plastic housing.
yeah. And
Has to be a metal housing.
yeah, and that lumens, if it's even a tenth of that, because they can lie about the lumens. There's a great video about that. That this guy did. In fact, I think his videos. I reference his videos in my book. Um, the lumens are roughly about 10% of that, which there's nothing wrong with that. But it's usually only in turbo mode, and that has nothing to do with the actual throw of the light. So it's a really bright light, but it's so spread out that you can't see the trees or whatever.
Well, see,
There's
we're used to spotlighting
leaves.
here in Australia, and I've
Yes,
got a
exactly.
spotlight out at
Yeah.
camp, and that plugs directly into the car battery, and it's just a
Oh,
handheld light.
how does that
Um,
not kill your batteries? Are not designed to do that, Griffin.
oh no, you use it while you're driving around.
Oh, okay, good.
So the alternator's always charging the battery anyway, so it's not a
Okay.
problem. But hell, the globe on that gets hot. It'll melt plastic without
Yeah.
any problems at all. You put it down on your center console, and goodbye center console.
Yeah.
So, but that thing will throw light
Cook
out
some eggs on it.
probably a good 2 or 3 kilometers, like 2 miles
Yeah.
without a problem. Um, so I mean, that's a light made for that sort of specific purpose.
Yeah.
As for my torches, I've done videos on my torches, and I've got a range of different torches, but the one I use the most, I actually rarely use it on the full high beam. I don't need
Yeah.
it out bush. All
Use
I
high
just
beam
keep
on your backpack and it like digging through your backpack and you just like blow your brains out with the flashlight.
yeah. Look,
I hate that
it's
so
something I
much.
can put in my pocket
Yeah.
without a problem. It's got I can pull the thing out and it gives me a wide, a narrow beam, or I can push it back in. It gives me a wide beam. Um, but just walking around camp, I like that torch. I only really charge it probably once every 4 weeks, and I'm out there Friday night, Saturday night,
Yeah.
Friday night, Saturday night. I'm out there quite a lot, um, and I don't need it.
No.
Once I've gotten used, I'm used to my campsite. I know where all the trip hazards are, so I know where to walk. And normally, if it's a clear night and there's starlight, there's more bloody light out there than you can poke a stick at. So
Yeah, you get night
you
adjusted
know,
vision. You're
the
fine.
the yeah, the more you keep your torch off, the better off you actually are. So um, it's it is I don't know. Torches are one of those things that, yes, I've got quite a few of them. Um, I use them sparingly. I only use them when I need them. Um, so I don't know. I've got torches at home as well that don't go out bush. Um, but the ones out bush are all USB powered. So because I can charge them because when I set the trailer up, I actually did a dual battery system. So there's actually two 120 amp deep cell batteries in there that are combined, and they go up to a operating box, where there's a bunch of USB ports. There's a 12-volt port. There's actually about three 12-volt ports. I could hook an inverter up to it, but I haven't because I don't need it, because everything I've got out there is USB or 12 volt. So I've got more than enough power out there without sort of thinking too much about it. I don't need any more. There's enough out there to run a fridge. The car's got a separate battery in the tray that is hooked up to a solar panel that's on the roof bars permanently, and that's what the fridge runs on. And that fridge has been running off that solar panel and battery for probably 3 years now, and it's never turned off. Um, I've never had a problem with it. So, and the fridge sits on probably about between 4 degrees and -2, depending on what I've got in there. Like if I've got nothing in the fridge, I'll just leave it on 4 degrees, because the cans that are sitting in there don't need to be stupidly cold. Um, so yeah, I mean, I've got the 60 litre in the car. I've got an 80 litre out bush, which is plenty of fridge and freezer space. So I can't. I always knew I couldn't save everything, and that was the point. Um, I can't save everything, but I can save a hell of a lot. So everyone preps differently, I suppose, but yeah, and I suppose that's one of the good things about the book is that it doesn't matter how you prep because you've pretty much covered it all. And with the summer edition that's coming out, particularly with the homestead stuff, that's going to cover even more again. So realistically, if you're in the market for a book, and you're sort of tossing up between the SAS prepper book and yours, I would definitely recommend yours, because, like you say, SAS is for bushcraft. Yours covers everything, and okay, it doesn't cover how to light a fire with two sticks, and it doesn't cover the basic things. But look, um, if you have the money, fine, buy both, but I would buy yours first. Simple.
Yeah, yeah, I appreciate that. And even those, I'll be honest, like most of those also suck. They're for entertainment purposes. Like
Oh, look, I've had
these,
the SAS bloody guide for hell 30 years. um,
yeah,
and it was one of those little Collins books. They're about the size of a phone, and it's got about 200 pages, and it's a bloody pain in the ass to keep open when you're trying to read something and do something at the same time. Um,
yeah. The
it's
one,
friggin' annoying.
the one that I recommend, and I don't even see it in the top 100 any. Oh, did he re? No, no, no. There's a different, not the Bear Grylls one. Gosh darn it, the Bear Grylls one's actually in the top 100 of camping. Les Stroud's, which is just called Survive, is actually really good. Um, in my opinion, that's the best. I don't know, survive anything book. Um, if you want to sit there and have enough pictures and eventually fiddle fart around, but they're entertainment books. Like my goodness, it's um, if you were gonna get a second book, what you really just need to do is get the edibles book for whatever zone you live in.
Well,
Is
yeah,
really just what you
that's
need, and then you need to
that's
have
an
someone
interesting
walk you
one
through
because
it.
there isn't one for my area.
Yeah, and there is one for mine because pretty much everything here is edible.
Mm,
So
that was
it's a
part of the
shorter
reason.
list of like what's not edible. Yeah.
We'll see. At one stage, like most people know, that I did a history on the local Aboriginals that lived around here, and
Yeah,
part of
but
the
you're not supposed
reason.
to eat the aboriginals.
No, but part of I know that, not the
Oh,
pygmy ones
oh,
anyway.
okay, okay. And then they'll cast the dark magic on you. Oh, he's
But
starting to
yeah,
cast a spell. Oh shit.
part of the reason I got into that was because I actually wanted to know what you could eat out there, and I was
Yeah.
hoping I could find the information. And at first, there was someone who did write a book many years ago, but she passed away.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, the book never only ever got printed twice, and you cannot get it, like,
Oh
at
wow.
all. Um, and I actually managed to contact her next of kin and said, "Does she have? Did she ever have a spare one sitting around? Because I would buy it in a heartbeat." And they said no. Um, Although I'm pretty sure they just didn't want to get involved. So, which
Yeah.
is fine. That's okay. So my next sort of alternative was to find some Aboriginals who used to live in this area. or descendants of. And of course, there are none. Um,
Someone
and
ate them.
so, no, they eventually
Oh.
died out. First of all, it was disease spread by white Australian or white English when they first turned up, and it virtually knocked out pretty much, I think, about 70% of all Aboriginals that actually lived in Australia at the time. It got
Hmm.
passed between one tribe and the next and the next and the next. Because what was it? Not the Spanish flu. Apparently it actually hit the bottom of Argentina and Chile before it ever even came to Australia. It went across the entire globe, and Australia was the last one hit. Um, and
Hmm.
so that pretty much knocked out a lot of the tribe that was living in this area. And then after that, it became an issue with wife stealing and intertribal disagreements, shall we say,
Oh, goodness.
that virtually ended up knocking out the rest of them. And as far as I know, the last full blood that actually passed away, died in a jail down in Bordertown, which is right on the border between South Australia and Victoria, in about 1912. And that was it.
Wow.
There were no more. And so I knew all of that. So then the next thing was hopefully somebody's written something down, but no, nothing was written down. They didn't write anyway, and I actually got the copy of the interview from the last guy that actually died, and he lied. Every question they asked, he lied, and I knew that because of all the research I'd done previously.
Mm-hmm.
So, so the chances then of actually finding out what plants are actually edible, um, I may as well go out and spend the next 30 years and research each plant that I find and figure out whether it's actually edible. Because
Yeah, one
that's
of the
about how long it will take.
yeah, one of the
And
things I covered in the book is people thinking they're just gonna take their phone out and scan scan everything. And I'm like, yeah, you're gonna die.
there's no signal out there. I'm sorry, but
Well, they say they some of them allegedly, can work offline to where basically it's a data bank of every plant. You want to talk about what's taking up 500 gigs on your phone?
oh,
The
jeez.
the
Well, at the
learning
moment it's
data.
YouTube Studio, but we're not going there.
Yeah, no, it would be every a picture of every plant for it to try to be like, it's a stinging nettle, and you're like, no, I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
that's a
and how many
raspberry.
varieties of stinging nettle are there out there that look absolutely bloody identical to each other? One will kill you in 30 seconds, another one will save you from cancer.
Yeah, and the other one makes
I
you
mean,
itch in funny places.
it's like you need to become an absolute bloody expert.
Yeah, and it's
Like
also
it's
like
like mushrooms.
I was gonna say that. Yeah, it's like, well, there's a 50-50 chance.
Yeah, 50-50
Um,
chance you're either going to die or end up in some sort of hallucinogenic state, or geez, that was a tasty mushroom. We should have more of those.
yeah,
And
I
you're
was
perfectly
watching.
fine. So,
I was
you
watching
know,
this one, and he was talking about they were somewhere in the high desert, and he was like, the rule of thumb here is that everything that comes from like a single pointed piece of stem is all poisonous. And they're like, what about that? Oh well, that's yarrow. It looks almost exactly identical. He goes, but if you look really close, they're coming off from different parts of the stem. Otherwise, they look exactly the same. And I'm like, yeah, exactly. Like that's the problem. So I could have a bunch of yarrow out here, or I could have like a poisonous plant. I'm like, I don't know, because I don't
yeah.
trust half of my friends out here that come and say that things are what they are, because half of
Well,
them are
okay, you eat it
goofballs and half
first.
of them are goofballs and half of them are fake. Like all of my friends that really knew their shit, like left, unfortunately,
Yeah.
or their families got sick and they had to take care of their families, and you end up with everybody that's left being a goober, and that's what happened with me. That's why I went through all the training that I did, and I put myself through all the situations I did, because I got sick and tired of feeling helpless and feeling
Mm.
defenseless and trusting other people to program my radios and trusting other people to tell me how to set my GPS up right. I got fucking sick and tired of it.
So you just went out there and did it.
I just did it. Yeah.
Mm.
I just yeah, I learned how to drive a
It's
stick shift during a fucking riot. So it's just that was
it's
just
one
like
of the things when you're on your own that you do. It's if nobody else is going to bloody tell you, well, damn it, I'm either going to have to figure out a way of doing it, or I'm not
yeah.
going to do it. um,
Well,
because you go
yeah,
through
like
the whole OH&S thing in your head, um, and if it's safe to do it, well, fine, let's do it. If it's not safe to do it, then I'm not doing it. Um, if I
and
need
if
to
it's in
learn
the
it,
middle,
I'll
you
learn
kind
it.
of mitigate it as best
Yeah,
as you can.
you,
Yeah.
you basically sit down for 5 minutes and think about what you're about to do. I mean, that's
Yeah.
probably the best bit of prepping advice anyone can ever give you, is if you're not sure, just sit down for 5 minutes, find something else to do, and then get up and go and do it again after you've thought about it.
Yeah, and what they say, do it until, you get it right, and then keep doing it again until you can't get it wrong. And
Yeah.
then try to teach somebody else and see, um, and try it in different locations, like up in the mountains or down at the beach, are just two completely different things.
Mm.
So like when we would walk on the beach, I look like an idiot because I clip a GPS on me. But it's like, well, hey, at least I can just keep walking and always find my way back to my freaking hotel room. I don't walk by my hotel room 3 times like a moron because they all look the same.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I can see that happening in a place like Hawaii or somewhere like that because they literally all do look the same.
yeah, you got to walk all the way up to the street and be like, what road are we on? Because every single bridge looks the same. Hey, all right. Yeah, sir.
But it's probably
We're
getting
about to
rather
shut
late
down.
there,
Yeah, it
and
is.
we've been
I got to
online
work in the
for,
morning.
again, 3 hours and 22 minutes.
Yeah,
And you're
I feel
starting to
like we
sound.
got closer. I feel like you did a better job pinning me down, but also it still bugs me because the only way I can answer a lot of these questions is if I sit here and like search through the book, because I have so many of those oh shit moments. I hope I wrote that in here somewhere because it's gotten so big to where I can't remember anymore. So I have this tool now, and that's for these 30 or 40 items. I go, did I write about this? And what did I write about? Because doing a control F in the Word doc doesn't work. It's too big. Like if I control F for potato, you know,
It's going to bring
there's a
up
potato section,
30
but it brings up
pages.
30 other potatoes. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's 288 pages now. I hit 140,000 words. Like this is a huge book. Like
And the
this next
stupid
edition.
question is in 5 years, you could probably add another 100 pages to it.
Yeah, I'm gonna really, 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 really try not to, because I think because I short of me, and I guess this is a good way to wrap this up. Short of us, I know, just get a sand well or whatever those wells are called. I'm like, yeah, fuck, great, I know. Just like someone said in the chat, just get an XYZ tunnel or whatever. Yeah, that's great. You know what that all takes? Money. I can't
Yeah.
stand it when people say shit like that. And so, do I want a new well? Yeah, that'd be great. Not gonna happen for a while. If I do get a fucking dungeon bunker thing, whatever, like, yeah, I'll update it. But also, that's even I would argue a lot of that's like out of scope of even a homestead. I mean, that's crossed into, I don't even know, like a survival redoubt or something. You know what I mean? I don't know what you guys call them there, but at that point you're like, this is not a homestead anymore. It's just turned into a literal survival retreat.
Well, funnily enough, Farm Girl, who's been on Marfeagle TV
Yeah.
and she's she sort of jumped in on my live earlier.
Yeah, so that.
Um, if anyone wants to jump over to her channel, she's actually got, I don't know whether she sold it yet or not, but she has got a retreat for sale, and that's where she actually put a bunker into.
Oh, that's cool.
Um, Now it's probably down in Georgia, because she did
Oh yeah.
mention that she's never left Georgia before. But
Yeah, I saw that.
yeah, it's actually one of those Atlas survival bunkers. She put one
Oh, that's
on the
sick.
property, and it's got about 2 or 3 houses. It sits on about 5 to 10 acres or something like that.
That's
Um,
$5-10 million
and it's
equity.
pretty much already set up for anyone that's got the money to go in there and survive. So
Yeah,
I thought I'd sort of throw a few people farm girls way. If anyone wants to go over there and check it out, they can. She's got a couple of videos over there, so yeah, go and check it out.
maybe she'll
So
want to buy my book.
I keep pushing it. I push it to everyone. So
I appreciate
uh,
it.
so
It's incredibly daunting, and I do think I'm just about the reason why I wasn't done with it last time is because I hadn't got this far yet. But like next year, I think it's gonna be like, again, getting a pickup truck, getting a 4x4.
yeah,
Right, it's gonna be stuff that's really not gonna go in the book. The shipping container's already in the book because I already did all the research.
yeah.
We did the carport this year, which was insane. We're gonna finish the trees up like that. That's all already in the book. Splitting wood, that doesn't need to go. Like, yeah, short of getting a well or a cellar, like fixing the fence. I don't know if I put fixing the fence stuff in there, but explaining in words how to fix a fence is really fucking hard. My friend, like, he
Well, it
showed me
depends on what sort of
clamping the
fence you've
two.
got.
Well, barbed wire, like he clamped the two pieces together and then kind of tethered two more pieces together. And I'm like, once he showed it to me a couple of times, I'm like, I get it, but that's like trying to write a knot down. It's just not gonna happen. And
Yeah,
so
photo.
there's
That's where photos and things like that are probably better off. You
yeah,
know, a picture tells 1,000 words, so they say, and sometimes that is definitely the case.
yeah.
So
Like I'm gonna keep repairing the outside of the house. It's just they're just
you've just got to get rid of the wasp nest now.
oh my gosh. Yeah. I've been planning different ways of sending the drone down there. Um but I don't have any drones with lights. I'm hoping the Neo 3 has lights on it. But that's kind of the point is like, the deck and the porch need to be repaired. That doesn't really need to go in the book. Um and so it's like I do kind of think it's done and so or it will be. So it'll be tiny updates like is there more drone tech or if I get night vision, if I finally somehow win the lotto and get night vision, um that's one of the things that's missing.
Oh
In
boy,
fact,
that's an open topic that I
but the
could
thing
talk.
is I'll get the must be nice crowd, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know, but
The
you cop that
second
with the bloody electric flaming mower. So I mean, it's come on, guys.
I
I mean,
did,
at
yeah.
the end of the day, get over it. Seriously, get over it.
The thing, yeah, and this is what I tell people. I guess this is a good thing to end it on. Like I've told you this before. Like I angled my entire career since my sophomore year of high school, 82 years ago, into computers this is what I have been living, eating, and breathing since high school, right?
Mm,
So if people get mad at me because I'm able to actually isn't that what you're supposed to do? Angle your whole life towards something until you're an expert and then live?
something like that. Yeah.
That's isn't that the point? Like,
Mm,
I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I still get made fun of by people that I wish didn't make fun of me, but I angled my whole life into this. And a lot of that computer shit goes into the book. It's good. The batteries, the cameras, like it's all there's a lot of computer stuff. I think computer people going off grid is like way underrated. I think computer people do much better off grid than people would give them credit for. And
the
I am
nerds will always win.
living proof. Nerds will inherit the earth.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. So maybe
I
that's a
think that's a
good.
great place to finish up on.
Yep. Yep. So I appreciate you, and I like
Yes.
swapping back and forth on these. So
Thank you very much to everyone in chat. I don't know how many are left, but thank you very much to everyone who's been in chat. Thank you very much to Chance. And yeah, his book is called Bunker Basics and closely followed by Bunker Buddies. And of course, there's the entire PNW Affliction series. So, all available on Amazon. Just search Chance Paladin on Amazon and you will find it. So, yeah.
and your job is to get your foot better and sue the living piss out of. I keep forgetting to tell you that. Sue the living piss out of
Yeah, I
these
know.
people.
You're not the first one who's mentioned that. So,
Yeah, we'll talk about that next stream because I have another friend who fucked their foot up really bad, and I'm like, sue the
oh,
piss out of them.
this is my knee. So,
Yeah.
it's, same. But anyway, I'm going to let you go. You get some sleep. Enjoy your
Yeah.
work day tomorrow, which probably is today already. And
Yeah, it's in about 7 hours.
I'm.
six, 6 hours.
Good thing 84-year-olds don't need much sleep. Just take a
That's
Viagra and you'll be fine.
that's literally how that works.
Well, I'm going to let you go to sleep, and I'm going to go and get some dinner. So
Yep. Sounds good. Be
enjoy.
careful, okay? Don't fuck up your
I will
shit.
take it as easy as I can. So
Okay, sounds
yes,
good.
no worries. Okay, we'll catch you later, and yeah, have a good one.
Yep, sounds good. See ya.
See ya.
Cha-chunk. Ba-dunk. Cha-chunk. Ba-dunk. Cha-chunk. Are you liking it, Billy? I'm going to stay on for a few more minutes because I want to at least get this video. Oh, yeah, take it easy, Surf. I want to get this video rendering, but I don't. Usually I make really, really nice images for these, but I don't even. I don't even know what kind of image to make for this video. Are you liking 14? 14's a crazy one. I was dealing with losing a very, very, very close friend when I wrote 14. Ding! I didn't think I was ever going to write again. And then I found a way of kind of working his memory into the story. Had to restart it a few times, but I can't place the guy who lost his memory. What do you mean you can't place him? It was my way of coping with a friend that I lost, and so I was trying to pretend like he actually wasn't dead and that he faked his own death and that he's actually still alive somewhere. If you're familiar with Pacific Northwest stuff, you might actually know who it is. And I changed almost everybody's names. So, like, only the people who knew him would know who I was talking about. But he had a memorial. Um, I drove. Things were really fucked up back then. Cat in Digi. Cam. Green hoodie. Stocking. Nice. In a homestead field. Near wood pile. Yeah, he that story is like at least in my opinion, that story is like shockingly deep. There's like a lot of really deep stuff in that story. And then some of it's just meant to be fun, but you could also take it. There's a lot of ways to interpret that story. Download. There we go. I'm not gonna go ape shit on this video. I just want to get it out. I could tell the story was more involved somehow. It's a very, 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 very... It's kind of like Silent Hill. Kind of. Like, my books already have... Well, you've noticed this by now. My books have, like, a lot of horror elements. And... that book is very Silent Hill-y. I'm trying to remember like the exact inspiration. I've always been really enamored with that like Montana-y like kind of high desert, like those caves and stuff, and that place has always reminded me of friggin' purgatory. I went there once in my life, and I'm just, as a kid, I'm like, I never want to fucking go back to this place. To me, like, Montana is like actual hell. Like, hell is what I imagine like Montana is like. Not that that's what the book is about, but because that's not what the book's about. I mean, it's kind of like he's stuck in the middle in a lot of ways. Yeah, the caves. Fuck, I don't know. I should have left myself like more notes. Hold on, I'm gonna listen to this really quick and make sure that my voice isn't too fucked up. Hold on. That sounds good. Okay, cool. I'm gonna get this exporting before I forget. Lots of AI Betties. Not hell yeah, there is, dude. Great Falls, Montana is nice. I mean, there's nice parts, but Seraphim says, I tend to pick people's empathetic gifts of my psychic link to higher gifts. Exactly, Seraphim. I totally agree. There are lots of AI Betties, Billy Jack. All my books all my books are just full wall to wall with AI Betties. That's just how I like it. And if you look at the book covers, so you can go through Amazon without paying anything and just look at all the book covers and look at the paperbacks and hardbounds and paperbacks and hardbounds. And it'd be like, oh, they actually are a bunch of AI, literally AI Betties. But keep in mind, I wrote all these before AI Betties existed. So they weren't. AI Betties didn't exist when I wrote these books. But that's still the term still works. That's funny. But I do not take offense at all. Not at all, because as soon as AI Betties really became a thing, then I'm like, hell yeah, they're all AI. I'm like, that's perfect. Yeah, I wrote those before AI Betties existed. And then I'm like, holy shit, this is perfect. Yeah, well, I guess you already saw the cover to 11. Well, yeah, you saw the cover to 6 too. She's an AI Betty running around in her suit. And then yeah, you saw the AI Betties on 11. Yeah, oh dang it. Here. This is the yeah. There you go. There's more and more and more and more. Yep. More. It's pretty funny. I keep most of them like on the hardbounds, the library AI. Oh, that's right. Yeah, that was an 11. There's tons of them though. I just I keep them off the main covers for the most part because there was a pretty big backlash there for a while. Seraph says pre-AI LOL, just don't let robot voices override your own thinking path. Frequently put them in check without being yeah. 11. 11. No, you're right, Seraph. Yeah, don't let them put ideas in your head. Yeah, my wife helped me design the characters for 11. The idea of a gal that used 9mm pistols was her idea. At least that's what my memory tells me. Well, it is super late / super early. And I'm going to crash. Yeah, unfortunately, Billy, I think I deleted my audiobook of 15, and I think I kind of Seraphim's spouting gibberish numbers now because she's not following along with our conversation. Or our cat's on our keyboard. I think my voice, like 15 was a really, 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 really long book. And I think I didn't really like the audio recording of it. And what I'm thinking of doing, probably this winter, if you guys don't want me to do my books as AI, conversation about theoretical chemistry. Hell yeah, dude. That was awesome. We'll see. I want to do the books in AI, but if people want to do me to do my real voice, we'll see. Finally, not forgetting to take out my garbage. Hell yeah. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Watch out for AI Betty, and you guys have a good night / good morning, and I'll talk to y'all later. Buy my books.